So like for 2 days now, I need to refresh my beard. Like I'm trying to determine how you want to catch these wings that I got. Like that's how upset my stomach has been. And we got podbean in the house. We got Instagram in the house. Who else we need? We got YouTube in the house. You're missing something, aren't you? And then now let's go ahead and get the webpage in the house, mytsports.net. Okay. Like the levels is good, the levels is good. The levels is good. Water boy.
Okay. Big man, you want to hear some hot takes? Let's see how woke you are. You know something about podcasts? Hell, dígame. You kidding me or what, man? I got these 3 drunk uncles with a sports podcast. They say they got fire takes, pure fuego. You find them wherever you listen to podcasts at. If it's what they say it is, you like them.
You know you want to call in? Let's talk Giants.
Let's subscribe. You know how to call into the show? Yeah, man. Do the podbean. You'll need headphones with a mic to call in. That's no problem, man. They'll also be at Sharky's, 8:07 p.m. on the first Wednesdays of the month. You may get some free Blue Chew. And they keep receipts or so. If anything happens in the sports world, MyT's gonna drop a tape faster than a rabbit gets fucked. There's only 3 things I have in this world. My word, my balls, and this podcast. And I don't break them for nobody.
What kind
MyT Sports Season 7.
I see how that happens now. Shit. My thumb is still fucked up. Like, fuck all you guys. Like, fuck all you hoes. Get a grip. Right? Okay. Now that I got my bottle open, can I get these curtains up? Can I get the camera on me? Where's my camera at? There we go. Oh, shit. It's gonna be one of those days. Hope you guys are ready for this. Good evening, and welcome back to another edition of the MyT Sports Podcast. I am still your host and one and only Untitled Chapter. As you guys know, it's another Fuego day in the hottest city in the world. We're coming at you live and direct from Broward, Florida, from South Florida, at the bottom of the barrel. Yeah, the tip of the barrel, I guess. Folks, it's another Fuego day in the hottest city in the world, folks, as we come to you live and direct from South Florida. It is April 29th. They told us we were going to have highs of 79 today. It was a weird day. It was a nice spring day. We was going to have highs of 79, lows of 69. It's been cloudy, partly cloudy, right? Scattered showers all day, 50% chance of rain. We was on the plus side of that 50% today. Folks, we got a big show coming up for you today. I mean like a really big show. Like a really hold on, I'm just adjusted. What the hell? I didn't even know you got down like that. There we go. We got a really big show. We got a really big show for you guys today. Obviously, folks, we're gonna get into it all. One of the things we're gonna get into is that they had Doc Rivers out here sounding just like R. Kelly. We're gonna talk about that for a little bit. We're gonna talk about this roadhead that was going on. Oh yeah, we just got a notification. I'm surprised another one didn't pop off. Right? We got New York getting it right, folks. New York gets it right. Both New York teams actually get it right for once. We got a Blue Chew promo code we're gonna give away to you guys. We're gonna tell you next week we're gonna be at Sharky's. Don't you guys forget that is the first Wednesday of the month, and we will be there every Wednesday from here on out until the NBA finals has concluded, folks. Yes, folks. So every Wednesday you can catch us on Sharky's. Make sure you come out there and check us out, folks. I may tell you guys about my productive, non-productive day. I had one of those weird ass days. All right, we're gonna get into Zion. We're gonna talk about Jimmy getting fined. We have the Browns being passed in the NFL. We're gonna talk about Bauer's suspension, and yeah, that happens. And we're gonna talk about these failed city winners, folks. Yep, we got a couple of whew, damn. And then, folks, and yes, folks, we have the NFL draft as well, and we're actually watching the second round right now as we're going live. And right now, it looks like they're on the 60th pick. It look like a trade may have come in. Like I said, we're gonna try to keep you guys up to date, see if I can follow along of what's going on with the draft while we're also doing the podcast. But folks, we have a big show. Like I said, another big show for you guys today. And you know what we say here, regardless of the time.
Take that, take that, take that.
And regardless of the weather.
You play to win the game. Hello?
It's always a good time to talk some sports. Let's stir this motherfucker up. So, let's start talking. Woo! Back at it like a sports fanatic. Woo! 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 Back at it like a sports fanatic. MyT Sports. Man, oh man. You know what I'm about to say, right? You guys already know what I'm about to say. I missed you guys. I really did. I did miss you guys. I'm looking for something. Something caught my attention. And in the back of my head, I had a thought that popped up. And this thought told me I needed to grab something that was over there. It could have been my glasses. My glasses ended up being over here. And I'm still thinking I need to grab my glasses from somewhere. But let's get right into it, folks. Yeah, I missed you guys. We've had another wonderful couple of days in sports again. Another beautiful day to be a sports fan. Unless you're a fan of one of the teams that have failed your city. If you're a fan of one of those guys, then I can possibly understand you not being so happy. But, consolation prize. Last night was the NFL draft. And if your team happened to be one of the teams that got eliminated, hopefully your football team happened to be one of the teams that made moves that you actually like, made moves that didn't make you want to drop your head or put one of those brown paper bags over your head. Hopefully that happened. Now I do know that if you're a Toronto Raptors fan, there's no real team for you unless you just adopted the Buffalo Bills, which then, you know what? You know, this you. Cheers to everybody out there. There's actually a Yingling. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Right, this little tapping noise that you hear. It's because all of the lights are attracting bugs to my window, and they're just flying into that bitch like bing, 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 bing. Like they're trying to do Morse code. Like they're trying to tell me, hey, let me in. There's spiders out here trying to fuck me up. And they don't know that I let the spiders run free specifically outside my window so that they can fuck you up. But it's a circle of life. I don't really care for the spiders, but I like the fact that you guys get all those bugs away. What I actually care for are the lizards. So the spiders grab all those flying bugs, and then the lizards come and they eat the spiders and those bugs. Bengals is on the clock with the 60th pick. Actually, you know what? Actually, I've been having issues over here trying to get the draft on one of my stations, right? But I realized I don't need to worry about that so much. Cause I'm actually able to. If you guys don't have a conventional way to watch the draft, you can catch it on the NFL app, right? Even if it's on your Fire Stick, and one of those feeds is a free feed for us. Which I don't know why I didn't think about that last night. I ain't gonna lie, I don't know why I didn't think about that last night. Like it literally just popped into my head this morning. But I don't want to get. Ooh, I see somebody I may become a fan of in Cincinnati. It's a cornerback named Taylor, Cam Taylor. Right, so, but let's get into the podcast before we get too distracted, cause you know how things go here, folks. Like I am a sports fan as a sports fan can be, and because I'm a sports fan, even if I don't talk it, I got a lot of baseball foundation in me, and I will go left field during any conversation whatsoever. So I don't want to get too distracted. Let's go ahead and start off the podcast the way we start off with every single podcast, and that is with our birthday party. And there we go. What y'all niggas know about this? That's the chat. That's the sports chat line. So what we do here for the birthday party is that we give a shout out to everybody that has had a birthday since the last time that we were on the air. Since the last time we was on the air was on Wednesday. We have all the birthday shout outs for yesterday and for today. Now, folks, if I happen to miss your birthday, I apologize. Oh, shit. Hold on. Wait a minute. I know I wished Palmer a happy fucking birthday, right? I did. His birthday's on 26th. Okay. I think there's another birthday that I'm missing. Wait, hold on a second. Where's Mia? I gotta get Mia up in this bitch. God damn it, Mia. What is your goddamn... You know, I'm just gonna have to text her. I just realized something. Mia. Hop on pod. Birthday shout out time. Okay. So you know what? Maybe I will tell you my story real quick. Maybe I will tell you my little story real quick before I get too far into the podcast. Also, I'm trying to give my godson, my homegirl and my godson Tom to hop onto the podcast so they can hear their birthday shout outs. Like, so I'm trying to do a little bit of both. And I'm also trying to catch this goddamn Grizzlies game. Right? Got Grizzly on my mind. See, hey, I don't even have it up. See, there you go. I don't even have it up right now. Alright. So let me tell you about my productive, unproductive day, right? Before we get into the birthday shout-outs. Like I said, it's only because I actually remembered as I was. It's funny, as I was doing the show prep, I didn't remember, and then I was just trying to, as I was telling you guys, that hey, if I don't remember your birthdays because I don't have you as a friend on Facebook. So if you're counting on my regular memory to remember your birthday, then you have overreached your expectations of me. What? This game went on TNT today? No, ESPN. Shit. I'm over here using the wrong remote. The wrong remote. I'm on ESPN today, not TNT. That's right. I do remember them saying that we're off until next week. They're off for the whole entire weekend because of all of the things that transpired yesterday. And we're gonna talk about yesterday. We're gonna talk about yesterday's games too. Right, because so many good things. And this is really weird. I find this time weird because every once in a while we get really great sports days, right? And yesterday was one of those days. Yesterday was one of those great days in sports to me. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. No, it's not on ESPN? Is it on NBA TV? Yo, fuck! Stop fucking with me. On the remote? Okay, I need to put this other remote to the side because, you know what? this remote right here, or that TV right there, ain't going. Yeah, you funny. That remote right there ain't gonna fuck up. I'm over here finding every way to watch the fucking draft, right? And I was having such a hard time trying to find the draft earlier, or trying to catch a consistent feed for the draft. And no doubt, here when I'm not trying to get a feed for the draft, here goes I find one that's working fucking perfectly. But I'm not using that television anymore. I'm using another TV. So yeah, yes, I'm not gonna lie, right? Not for nothing, not gonna lie at all. But yesterday was really one of those. Well, yesterday was really one of those great days in sports. And part of the reason why, you look at that kid. I'm watching the draft right now, and San Francisco just picked up the edge rusher out of USC, Drake Jackson. And I don't know if that's his son or whose kid that is, but while everybody is there cheering, there is some little adorable kid there just clogging up their ears like, you adults are way too fucking loud for me. And if I can tell you guys that you are way too fucking loud, I would actually say you guys are way too fucking loud, and all y'all need to pipe the fuck down. I wish I was in my goddamn bed. It's after 9 o'clock. Normally by now you guys have me a fucking sleep. Now you got me awake with all these goddamn bright ass lights in my fucking face, and all I want to do is get a goddamn juice box, a bag of chips, and go to bed. Maybe I get some ice cream and pound cake. Because you know what? That's one of the things that never changes, right? From when you're younger to when you're older. Is that you always want some ice cream. Ice cream. And some pound cake. If you know what I'm saying. It's not even your birthday. I gotta be careful. I have to make sure I tick, because I don't know. I may TikTok. I may TT over here. Yo, okay Google, what channel is the Memphis Grizzlies game on? You know what?
The Timberwolves versus Grizzlies game is airing now on ESPN.
On what ESPN? I was just there. You know what?
On the website groundedreason.com, they say, while you can't purchase a subscription to ESPN directly, if you subscribe to any of the live TV streaming services above, you can opt to use the ESPN app. People also ask me, does Watch ESPN come with ESPN? Want to hear the answer?
No, I want you to mind your fucking business right now. I ain't asked you for all that follow-up shit. I love you though. Thank you.
I can't feel romantic love, but I think you are wonderful.
This bitch is wild. Right. I had one of these weird ass days. Right? No, I meant to on my day, but yeah, I guess it was just one of those great ass days in sports to me where we were able to catch NBA playoffs, right? And every single game last night was an elimination game. So it was basically win or go home for, not for both sides, but at least for one of the teams competing. So that added the level of interest. Maybe a little bit of both. Also on top of that, we had the first round of the NFL draft. And as we know of any draft that matters, right? NFL draft, NBA draft. I think those are the two drafts that we pay attention to the most. Major League Baseball draft, nobody truly gives a fuck because their prospects don't play right away. NHL hockey draft, people do give a fuck, but not enough people give a fuck in a regular way. And I don't want to disrespect hockey like that. It's just not enough. It doesn't pull the same intrigue. WNBA draft, you know what I mean? People give a fuck, but not the same intrigue as well. But so last night we had one of those days where you had in one sport you have the playoffs and you have elimination game and you have somebody's season about to end and you want to see how they go out. But also on the other side, you have another team season that's basically kind of just beginning, right? And that's what the draft is. The draft is like a new year. The draft is like the spring. right? Like these it's time. It's the time of new bringings and new blessings. And John Morant with the drive, dishes, wide open three for JJ. Jared Jackson Jr. Jason Jackson, whatever the fuck his first name is. So that's kind of what yesterday was, and it really made things exciting. It really made for an exciting time. Right now, so on top of having the second round and third round of the NFL draft going on, this NBA game just started right now at 9 o'clock. So we have, the Memphis Grizzlies and the Minnesota Vikings. Got football on the mind a little bit. Memphis Grizzlies and the Minnesota Timberwolves. And again, this is an elimination game as well. Memphis is up 3-2, and we're trying to see if they can handle business on the road. As when we get into talk about as we get to talk about the NBA a little bit later on, you're going to talk about how good was that roadhead, because there was a lot of roadhead going on. A lot of people had to win on the road to be able to go ahead to the next round. And we're going to see how good that roadhead was to these guys, or if they hit a couple of potholes and was maybe scraped by a couple of teeth. Before we get into any more into the podcast, you know what? Let's go ahead and get things started, right? Let's go ahead and start the podcast off the way we generally start the podcast off, and that is with our birthday party. Let's go ahead and drop that beat for everybody. You know what? Because I ain't gonna lie, I got no more time to hesitate, Mia. You tripping? Why do I have a timer going off like in 40 minutes? 1 hour and 15 minutes. Oh, it's paused still. I get it. That's the old one. You guys ready? Because, yeah, it's your birthday. We said it's your birthday. Check it. Yeah, check it. Yeah, because it's your birthday. We sing happy birthday. Check it. Yeah, check it. Yeah. I know you guys are wondering, like, yo, that ain't no birthday song that I generally know. That's because this isn't the birthday song that you generally know, right? We got our own birthday song here on the Mighty Sports Podcast. So that was your first time. We did this. Got some the running back out of Georgia, Buffalo, did 5'11", 199 pound, pass game weapon, birds, complimentary. Okay. I'm just trying to get some. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Okay, now I'm ready for my goddamn wings again. I'm ready to try it out. I'll do the consequences in the morning. In the morning. Because yeah, it's your birthday. We said it's your birthday. Check it. Yeah, check it. Mia, you tripping? See, I'm already doing the birthday song right here. Mia is full blown tripping. Hold on. Let's see if it's too late to get her in there. See? But. Do we hit the brakes? People? Do we give me a little bit of time to get in here? Alright? So, you know what? Let's do that. Let's get into the podcast. We'll see when Mia gets in here. We'll go ahead and we'll take our first break to go ahead and give our birthday shout outs. Right? Let me tell you about my weird ass day. Because I had a day where I was supposed to be productive today. And my productivity, it's like I got shit done, but I didn't get anything done. I was supposed to get some tires. I went to go do my taxes. And the reason I'm doing my taxes late, because my psychotic, abusive, violent, ex-girlfriend Shada Dunkley, who I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy, she decided to take some of my tax documents when we left and refused to return them. And obviously, by that point in time, also I stopped wanting to talk to her. Period. So I was like, you know what? I'll find alternative ways to go ahead and get them. So I had to find alternative ways to go ahead and get my tax documents that I originally had, and so it took me some time to get everything together. So taxes are being filed a little bit late. But I tell myself, okay, I'm gonna go get my tires. I'm gonna go get my taxes done. I'm gonna go get a little bit of Izzo, you know what I mean, and come back to the crib, you know, and get ready for the pod. Now, there's always, now when it comes to doing my tires, because of who I go, I go to Friendly Tires down here, or Lucky's Tires, whichever one their name is, right? And the people, and everybody around this area kind of goes to them. And it's usually like a 50-50 chance if he has your tires or not. So I'm like, okay, it's whatever. Right, so usually you may have to go there, make a deposit, and then come back the next day and handle your business because of what happened. I'm no problem with that. I'm cool with that. Right? But only because I expected it, right? I anticipated that this might happen. The only thing about it is that every time this does happen, right? He always has some kind of weird ass story to be like, yeah, I had those tires in today, but you know how business is. I sold them to a customer, la 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 la, and it's always the same kind of story. Like, yo, I just had these tires and I sold them earlier, which I get. Like, when we used to run a game store, if somebody used to ask me for a specific game title, I used to say the same shit to them, like, damn, yo, we just had that yesterday, or we just had that in this morning. If you would have came here early, you definitely would have got one. You know what? Let me go ahead and put an order in for you, and we'll make sure that we get that here for you. You know what I mean? So I get it, right? It's always the same dog and pony show that he gives me, and I always have to cut him off at some point in time. Or I always have to, like, as soon as he gets done, I'm like, you know, we've been doing this for a decade, right? Like, I already know how this works. So I'm like, okay, bam, give him the deposit. No tires gotten today. Oh, there you go. Finally, got me hesitating. You know how long I should have done my birthday party? I see you. Get on my nerves. How you talking about how do I get there again? You lucky. You lucky. Today's a day of celebration. Shoot.
Something went wrong. Try again in a few seconds.
Like, nobody talking to you, Google. So that's how, like, I didn't get the tires done at all, right? But I got the deposit done for it. Then I went to go get my taxes done. And next thing you know, I'm heading up there. I'm over here thinking, like, damn, tax season is actually kind of over, right? So I don't even know if he's in the office or not. And no doubt he's not in the office yesterday. He was in the office today. Like, so I have to go there tomorrow. So here I go. The two things I was trying to get knocked out today couldn't get done. And again, for you guys is wondering about my taxes, like, my crazy ex-girlfriend, like, she took my tax papers. That bitch was crazy, and she was violent. Like me, I may need you to beat somebody up. Actually, no, I definitely need you to beat somebody up. I'm joking here. And these are all jokes, because remember, these pods are recorded for quality and training purposes, right? So that's really how my crazy, like, my crazy productive, my non-productive productive day went. So, like, I basically set up an appointment to get everything done that I was trying to get done today, which is probably the adult way to do shit, right? It's not just to pop up to these places of staff, like, actually set up an appointment. But I'm like, yo, I've been doing this for so long, like, yo, come see me, like I'm here now, like come, let's get business done. All right, folks. So now let's go into the portion of the podcast that we've been putting off for the way that we generally like to start off every single podcast, and that's with our birthday party. And in our birthday party, we like to give a little shout out to everybody that had a birthday within the last time that since we had a podcast. So that's covering everybody that has a birthday from the 28th to the 29th. Let's go ahead and get that birthday. Like, let's get this birthday party started. And like my boy Chill Bill likes to say, because you know Chill Bill doesn't like to be left out of any of the portion of the podcast. And my boy Chill Bill likes to say, yo, DJ MyT, drop that beat. Alrighty, folks, you know what happens here. I already started this. I already sang this song once, right? But we didn't give out any of the shout outs. So you should know the birthday song by now. So you already know how this goes. I'm gonna sing this twice for you. Right? One time was a trial run, and the next time we firing for real. You understand? Go ahead and take this time. Go ahead and pour yourself a little drink. Get yourself a shot. Open yourself up a beer. Right? Pack your bowls. Do whatever you do to celebrate birthdays. Go get yourself a juice box. Get yourself a slice of cake. You know what I mean? Get yourself a wine cooler if your parents allow you to. Hope you allowing him to have a wine cooler. I'm just saying, listen. I'm just saying, all right. And let's get this party started, right? Because yeah, it's your birthday. We said it's your birthday. Check it. Yeah, check it. Yeah, because it's your birthday. We sing happy birthday. Check it. Yeah, check it. Yeah. I hope you guys caught that. That was the dry run. All right. Hope you guys are ready to join me for the real run. Right? You ready? Because yeah, it's your birthday. We said it's your birthday. Check it. Yeah. Check it. Yeah. Because it's your birthday. We sing happy birthday. Check it. Yeah. Check it. Yeah. Alright, folks, let's go ahead and get these birthday shout outs out the way, folks. First birthday shout out we want to give out to is to Rebecca Lynn, folks. To be honest with you, Rebecca, my bad. I didn't click on your Facebook page to be able to go down that memory lane so I can remember how I know you. But I want to say happy birthday to Rebecca Lynn. And I apologize. Also, you share a birthday with somebody a little bit more special to me. So nothing personal. I'm just really excited to say happy birthday to my godson, Asani. I want to say happy birthday. You know what I mean? I hope you out there enjoying life, enjoying your world. You know what I mean? You in school doing school stuff. You know what I mean? Studying and flirting. You know what I mean? Like being distracted while you know what I mean? Being focused while also being distracted. You know what I mean? Like hope you're doing all that shit. You know what I mean? Doing what teenagers do. So I definitely want to say happy birthday to you, Hassani. Hope you continue to live life and have fun. But to everybody, you know what we say here. Hope you have a happy birthday. We hope you party hard. We hope you enjoy everything. Hope you regret nothing. But more importantly, you get your weekend at Bernie's on. And you continue to stay MyT. There we go. Hey, yo. Again, like my boy DJ MyT says. Hey, yo, DJ. Can you cut that beat? There we go, folks. So you guys make sure that you go ahead and you give them a little ad, or you like my. You guys know. You guys see the post on Facebook. You guys make sure you guys give them a little happy birthday shout out. Wish them happy birthday as well. And since we're doing birthday shout outs, let's go ahead and give another little shout out to somebody else that isn't quite here, but it's somebody that we like to mention at the top of every podcast.
Hey ladies!
Right? And that is to one Brittany Griner, folks. If you guys don't know who Brittany Griner is, Brittany Yvette Griner happens to be a professional NBA player, folks. Yes, folks, she is in the National Basketball Association, and she is currently a prisoner of war and being held hostage on trumped-up weed charges in Russia. Brittany Yvette Griner is a 6'9" center in the WNBA. She is the third player in NBA history to dunk a ball in the game, folks. She is a champion, a 7-time All-Star, 2-time scoring champion, 8-time block leader, 2-time peak performer, a 3-time first-team All-NBA, 3-time second-team NBA, 2-time defensive player of the year, 3-time defensive first team, 4-time defensive second team. She's an all-rookie team, NCAA champion, most outstanding player, AP player of the year, 3-time Big 12 player of the year, 4-time defensive player of the year, high school player of the year. I say all this just to say, to bring Brittany Griner home, and also, girl, you will not be forgotten. They may not say your name every single day on their national broadcast because they have gotten the mandate from Congress or the higher up to not make it a big deal so that they don't use you as more collateral. Well, guess what? I have no such mandate. And the reason why you make sure that you get this attention, because if this was any other male superstar with that resume, that's the reason why I say her resume. If it was any male superstar, basketball, football, tennis, soccer, hockey, fucking ping pong, pinochle, darts, bowling, or poker, we would have made a big ass think about this. Every single day we would know. You tell me how often you get an NBA player, you get a basketball player, you get an NFL player with this kind of resume, and we don't make and the ripples in the ocean don't make waves whenever they fart. I'm just saying. So the fact that Brittany Griner isn't getting enough national attention to my liking, we make sure every day on here on this podcast we remind you guys that she is currently a prisoner of war, and we need to go ahead and get this girl home, because really she is being held hostage for trumped up weed charges that can be for a span of 10 years. Basically, they caught her with an empty cartridge, with an empty weed cartridge that had basically the remnants of resin in there. And that's what they're detaining her for. That's what she's been detained for about 70 days now. And that is what may cost her 10 years of her life if they find her guilty in Russia. That's if we can get her back. Now, very recently, I know you guys have heard the news that the United States and Russia has made a deal to exchange hostages recently. That exchange brought home military member Trevor Reed, and that also recently sparked an inquiry from basically the world, right, or a lot of individuals across the nation about Brittany Griner's freedom. So that was probably the only time we've seen her. We've seen so many questions about her, or even noticed that she has been trending since she's been locked up. But it actually took one other individual to get free for her to even be noticed. We're gonna make sure here on the podcast that she gets noticed all the time. So again, we say,
Hey ladies,
you have not been forgotten. And again, free Brittany Griner. You know what? I gotta find me some free Brittany Griner shirts. Right? Seriously, I do. I'm gonna start wearing them shits on the podcast. I'm gonna find myself a nice free Brittany Griner shirt. I got so many people's merchandise. I have to support first. Cause I ain't gonna lie. If you're a friend of mine and you got a local business, you got local apparel or anything like that, holla at me, hit me up in the DMs, right? We can go ahead and we'll get you on the podcast. We'll talk about your product and everything else like that. But also the reason why you need to hit me up in my DMs, because I will buy your product. I really will. I would buy your products. I want to see what that shit's about. And also, if nobody else is supporting you, know that you got somebody supporting you that you wasn't even thinking about. I will buy your product, because you know what? You know what they say, one hand watch the other and both watch the face. So let's get into the sports, people. Let's go ahead and get directly into the sports. Is this the Miz? Oh shit. The Browns about to make their pick, and in the third round we have them. See, so in a weird way, I think this is why I like the second and third round a little bit better sometimes, right? Because in the second and third round is when you get all of your cameos, all of your guest appearances, all of your celebrity appearances. Like in the first round, it's really all about maybe former players. It's all about the commissioner. We saw last night the Make-A-Wish Foundation winner. Like, he went up there, he made a pick. He was so excited. He was like he was about to go Super Saiyan. Just drooled on myself a little. I think you guys may have saw that. But let's get into the first topic. Let's get right into the first topic of the night, right?
First of all, first things first.
And the NFL draft was last night, right? It's tonight too. The NFL draft spans over 3 days, folks. So it starts on Thursday and it ends on Saturday. It's Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, right? It spans over 3 days. There are 7 rounds. I can't remember if it's 7 or not. I think it's 7 rounds. Yeah, it's 7 rounds in the NFL draft. So that spans over 3 days. Thursday night, you get the first round only. That's when they get the most time to make their picks. That's when you get a lot of the heartfelt stories. And like I said, that's when things really stay very blue collar. You see a massive amount of the commissioner. You may get the Make-A-Wish Foundation guy. Maybe if you do get some cameos, it's usually from former players of that team. In the second and third rounds, you get celebrities. You get wrestlers, you get actors, you get actresses, like you get rappers. Like I don't even know who you get James Rode Rodriguez. I don't even know who James Rodriguez is. I think I do know who he is actually. He looks familiar. He looks chubby in real life when he's not acting. he looks like a regular person. All chubby and out of shape, looking like he's had like 14 beers and about 52 wings over these last 2 days. That's what I've had. Like, listen, I literally just bought beer and wings for these next two, just for this whole entire draft period. I was like, yo, there's nothing else I really want to do but to drink beer and eat wings. But something's fucking with my stomach really bad. Like, something fucked with my... But I don't think it was the wings, though. It was something fucked with my stomach 2 days ago. Or yesterday. No, 2 days ago. Because it started Wednesday morning. Yeah. It was weird. It was weird. It was really weird. Alright. Just like something else that was weird for me was that even though we had the draft on last night, we also had the NBA playoffs. And the NBA playoffs being on wasn't the weird part of it. It was their start time. The NBA, they came out there and they said, we do not give a fuck. We don't give a fuck whatsoever. Like, we don't give a fuck. Like, seriously. And what ended up happening was, and it wasn't the fact that they were like, we're gonna have our games on the same time you have the NFL draft. Because that was gonna happen regardless. They weren't gonna skip that day. They're saying, fuck it. We're gonna stay on schedule. It was the fact that they had basically all of their games sorry, I'm watching this little Mellow Ball commercial with his cereal, and I realized it's a Hulu cereal commercial as well. It was funny. It looks funny. It looks funny because it had some weird message about like in the scoops. So the NBA again, the NBA didn't give a fuck, and it wasn't the fact that they said like, "Yo, we're gonna have our games on while the NFL draft is on." And we all know if the NFL draft goes unchecked, they're gonna rule the ratings. So at least this gave, starting from an hour before the draft started, the NBA had their games on. So the NBA had 2 games on at 7 o'clock. And I know this may sound like, oh, okay, that's not so bad. At least you get a chance. At least we get a chance to catch the games or whatever, right? Like, you know, or we get to watch the games early and possibly go to bed or so. No. I don't think you guys understand. They started 2 games at 7 o'clock. Remember, there's an Eastern Conference playoff game and there's a Western Conference playoff game. Last night, we had 2 Western Conference playoff games and only 1 Eastern Conference playoff game going on. So, for us people on the East Coast, 7 o'clock sounds actually pretty decent. Like, okay, the next game starts at 10. Maybe I can get to bed by 12, 1 o'clock. Like, but still, it started at 7. Like, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Because you know there's going to be another game coming on after that. What the NBA has been doing so generally, right? When they've had 3 games on the same day, is that they start one at 7, they start one at 8, like on NBA TV. So like one is on ESPN or TNT at 7, the other one will go on NBA TV at 8 o'clock, and then their final game goes back to like TNT at 10 o'clock, whatever. That's generally how they scatter it, right? Well, last night was no scatter it. 2 games started at 7 o'clock. We had the Philly and Toronto game, and then we had the Phoenix and New Orleans game. And I was like, damn, they don't give a fuck. They're like, yo, the NFL draft is... And that's what I meant by they don't give a fuck, was that New Orleans and Phoenix game. I was like, they don't give a fuck about that West Coast market at all right now. They're like, yo, NFL draft is on. We're going to show you this game at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We don't give a fuck. Like, you guys can watch this game while you're at work or while you're stuck in the goddamn car in the fucking highway. Like, you got to watch this shit now. Because you guys don't understand, like, so while that game is in New Orleans, right? And New Orleans, if I'm not mistaken, only has a 1 hour time difference, I think. Yeah, I think New Orleans only has a one. I wrote this down. That's why I'm looking at this paper that you see right now. Yeah. New Orleans only has a 1 hour time difference from us. So for the people at the game and maybe in New Orleans, right, or people for the individuals playing the game and in New Orleans, they're playing a 6 o'clock game. Not so bad, not so far fetched. Still a little early for those West Coast guys, but not so much to it's not so off, because that 10 o'clock game, right, for the West Coast people, that's 7 o'clock. So to play at 6, okay, you're not too far off. But for the people in Phoenix that wanted to catch their team play, or for the people in LA that may have been watching this team, that's a 3-hour difference. This game started at 4 o'clock in the fucking afternoon for them. And the NFL was like, and the NBA was like, I know, I can see you still there. I see you still there. Thank you very much for continuing to listen. Even after the birthday shout-outs has ended, I'll drink to that. But this is the way that you ever want to join the podcast, because this is how I'm always, through the Podbean link is how I'm always looking at my comments mostly. And this goes for everybody, so I'm not just talking to you, Mia. Even though I'm talking really directly to you. Everybody else, basically I'm just talking to you. There's nobody else here. If everybody else, if they want to put their ear against the wall and eavesdrop on what I'm saying, and you guys can listen into it if you want. But yeah, this is generally the way I really prefer most people listen to the podcast is through Podbean. Only because this is how you can call into the podcast. And this is the only way that you can call into the podcast. This is where I have my calling line at. It's through the Podbean app. But this isn't the only way that you can listen to or watch the podcast. Obviously, you can hear the re-air of the podcast almost anywhere that you listen to podcasts at. Whether that's Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, my webpage, mytsports.net, Podbean, wherever. Even on Facebook. Right, even on Instagram, you could catch a lot of the re-airs, right? So, but that's how you catch the re-airs, right? So as many places as we have for the re-airs, there's also places you can watch the podcast live or listen to the podcast live, right? You can, again, my website, you can listen to it live, mytsports.net, or you can listen to it live on the Podbean app. And the Podbean app is also where we have our Blue Chew Get In hotline, and that's how you get into the podcast. And trust me when I tell you, it's always nice and warm here in the podcast. So we always want to get into this podcast. Right, but you can also catch us live on Facebook. You can catch us live on Instagram. We have a behind-the-scenes camera. You can catch us live on Twitch. You can catch us live on YouTube. But there's only one way to call in. There's only one way to call in and actually join the show and be a part of it. And that's with the Podbean app. And that is with our Blue Chew Get In hotline. I don't know if you guys know about Blue Chew. I've mentioned Blue Chew for a while now, and I want to let you know that this podcast and this segment is brought to you by Blue Chew, right? Blue Chew. There's only two instructions. You chew it and you do it. What is Blue Chew, folks? I'll remind you again. Blue Chew happens to be a little blue pill that can get you back your thrill. All you have to do is open up a pack and head straight to a sack. Just a few chews before you do. For a very low cost, you can beat it up like a boss, and she will love how you come through like a champ when you Blue Chew in advance. Only thing that you need to do, folks, is use my promo code of LR, and this is this week's promo code of LRFJ. So go ahead and use that promo code before it expires, and you'll be able to get your first order of Blue Chew for free. Only thing you do is pay for shipping and handling. What's shipping and handling? It's $5 for your postman. For your postal person, and as they're helping you be happy in rain, snow, sleet, or hail, and sun, and all that shit. And guys, listen, don't be embarrassed. Like I know some of you think like I don't need that shit. Fuck, I need Blue Chew for. I don't need that shit. Well, every once in a while, you know, I'm just saying maybe you want to go to round 4, round 5, round 6. You know. Maybe you want to do that. Maybe you want to do it. Maybe you want to act like Patra, you know what I mean, and become a 1 hour man. Like maybe you just want to add a little thump. You know what I mean? It's basically the way I like. This is a sports show here, right? But let's give it the perfect sports connotation. There was the steroids era, right? And there were a bunch of players that really needed steroids, like Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa, right? Those guys really needed the steroids to be able to be the great players that they were. And It's not that they weren't good players to begin with, right? But they needed the steroids to become great players. They were starting to slide a little bit, right? And they just wanted to get a little bit of that oomph back. But then there was also Barry Bonds. And Barry Bonds, who was already a great Hall of Fame player. And after taking the steroids, he was otherworldly. That's what I'm saying you can be, fellas. You can be, even if you're already a great player in the bed, you can be otherworldly with Blue Chew. And ladies, I know you wonder like, damn, that sound good, but how do I get, ladies, you can get this too. You can get Blue Chew too. Get it for your boo. And you know when you got them dudes and they texting you or they're in your DMs and they telling you all that nasty, freaky shit that they're gonna do to you. Well, guess what? Don't come away from a session disappointed. Blue Chew his ass. Be like, hey partner, take one of these and make sure he does all of that shit he said he was gonna do in the messages. Listen, take it from the house of slick and make sure you can sling that dick. Blue Chew. There's only 2 requirements. You chew it and do it. And that's it. Get yourself your free order today before that promo code runs out. What's that promo code again? I'm glad you asked. It is LRFJ. Lima Romeo. Fox. Juliet. And we all gonna drink to that one. Cause I'll be tripping like shit. Cause I'm down here in South Florida. You know, you have some people like, I don't need that shit. Like, yo, we live in South Florida. I know right now. How old are you? You're 26. I know by now you've already taken 7 drugs that you don't even need to take for what reason whatsoever, just because you wanted to have a good time. Yet you won't want to take one to have a good time for the one thing that you like having a good time for, so the other person can have a good time, so that they can say your name, say your name. You understand? Like every night you want the neighbor, I hope your neighbors know my name. All neighbors know my name. Blue Chew, they can know your name too. Let's get back into the basketball, right? Let's get back into the basketball. Because as I said, NBA did not give a fuck. They had their start time. It was 7 o'clock on the Eastern time and 4 o'clock on the West Coast time, and they told these motherfuckers just catch the game when you could catch the motherfucker, because this is how we're giving it to you on NFL Draft Day. And you can tell that was really because NFL Draft Day is why they had both of those games at the same time. See, I'm telling you, see, third round, they have a dude on the shoulders of another dude in a trench coat that just fell, or they acted like they fell. It's the Cheeky Boys, and they're making the next. I'm telling you, that's why I like the second and third round. Like, they actually have fun with the other rounds. The first round is business. The first round is corporate. The first round is by the books. It's inside the box. And then the second and third rounds, they say, fuck that box. Which is what you can do if you get yourself an order of Blue Chew. You fuck that box. Okay, let me stop segueing. Because now my mind is in perverted mode. And we all know once I go down that Hershey highway, there's no coming on your back. Seriously, there's no coming back after that. Oh man. But listen, so one of the first games of the night was the Philadelphia versus Toronto. And in that series we had Philly leading that series 3-2. And Philly was leading that series 3-0. And after Toronto Raptors won the next 2 games, the rumblings started, right? What rumblings? Do you ask? I'm glad you asked. The rumblings started. And what those rumbles were the history, the playoffs of Christmas past for Doc Rivers, who said, I think last year or this year, he wanted to stop being called Doc, and we all just ignored him and was like, shut up, Doc. He was like, I have a real name. I want to stop. It was during like all the Black Lives Matters movement. He was like, yo, people keep coming to me like I actually have a degree in like some shit. It's like, Doc is a nickname. Stop coming at me like I'm this huge ass intellectual. So you came out one year, was like, what's going on, SB? You've been MIA? Which is funny because I do have my homegirl MIA up in the building. That's my best. That's my best friend. She have her own hair and a big butt. I'm sorry. Yeah, but that's another one of my army battle buddies, my sister, and you know what I mean, one of my best friends in the world. So, back to what I was saying. They had Doc Rivers out here, right? They started the rumblers of Doc, right? And I'm sorry, SB. It's actually funny that you pop up during this segment. We're talking about Philly and Toronto. But after Toronto wins their first two games, Doc Rivers, the playoffs of Doc Rivers' past start rearing their head. And the media asks the real questions like, yo, are you kind of nervous right now? Like, are you worried? And the Atlanta Falcons just picked a quarterback, Desmond Ridder, out of Cincinnati, in the third round, pick 74. SB, we got you here. I see you. I'm sending the invite so you can pop up in the thing. What's going on? It's been a while. So they had Doc. So and I know why Doc can feel offended, right? But it's the right questions to ask. But they asked Doc that question, and Doc Rivers went into full-blown R. Kelly mode.
Stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing.
Robert.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this.
Doc Rivers was adamant. He was like, look at that Orlando team. Look who was on that squad. I had nobody. Yeah, we were up 3-0. I had nobody on that team. That wasn't me out here just blowing games, telling my team you can't hydrate unless you get a bucket. After currently in a Twitter war with the city of Philly. Listen, invite them here. I'm only laughing because you said the city of Philly. Oh man, which is what you're supposed to do as a sports fan when your team just gets eliminated like that. You know what I mean? Like, but they asked Doc Rivers the real question, and Doc Rivers went into full blown defense mode. He really reminded me of that whole R. Kelly interview. But you know what though? Not for nothing. Doc, while some people call it excuses, sometimes we do need a friendly reminder. I don't get it, man. I love Philly. I never. You know what, SB? Like, you know that's uncalled for, right? You know that's.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
Now you see what you done started? Now we got Will acting up again, flaring his nostrils and shit. My bad, Will. He didn't know. He didn't know. But they really had Doc sweating and fretting, and that's like I said. Some people may call it excuses, but sometimes we do need a friendly reminder, because when Doc loses as the 8th seed team to the number 1 seed team in the moment with that team, I do remember everybody talking about how valiant of an effort that he had. And even though he was up 3-0, he ultimately was playing the number 1 seeded team. that ended up going to wherever the fuck they went to. So sometimes we do require that, we do need that reminder. And then, what was the other team he talked about after that? The Clippers. He was a victim of CP3. And CP3 pulling off his signature move. And that is failing you when it matters the most. And then he took the blame what happened in Philly last year. Again, because when we talk about what happened in the Clippers, we give a lot of blame to CP3. We talk about how CP3 failed, and now granted, Doc, you failed too. And the thing about it, right? The thing about what happens with Doc Rivers is that it's not even so much that, and no, actually, it's exactly so much. We do forget the intricacies, and this is why this is why, right? You have to remember the details of some of these stats, right? And this is why a lot of players too that they just want to get their ring, because they know history will be kind to them. They know 50 years down the road or 30 years down the road that the people that are now telling the story aren't going to fully remember what Kevin Durant did, what Kyrie Irving did, or how they got their rings, what LeBron James did, or how he got their rings. They'll just know, oh, they got rings, and look at all of the other stats that they put up during their career. And then they'll utilize that to place them. Right? And that's how LeBron James will be considered a top 10 player moving forward. When it's Billy, where you have and I'm telling you, that's how it's going to happen. What I'm letting you know right now, where you have a hard time putting, if you really think about it, you have a hard time putting LeBron James in your top 10 when you think about just all the Lakers you have to put in first. And then there's still Michael Jordan. Just saying. All those guys like to say, LeBron James is a top five. Top five what? You got 5 Lakers you can put in there. And then there's Jordan. Top 5 what? Scorer of all time? Yes. Let me see. Y'all about to get me all worked up on LeBron James. But this is what these guys hope on, right? They take into consideration that eventually history will be kind to them. And sometimes history can be kind to you, or sometimes history can be unkind. And that's what's happening with Doc Rivers. History is forgetting the intricacies of what led him down the path of blowing all of these 3-1 leads. Or if they were even favorites during the time that they had these 3-1 leads or 3-0 leads. Well, damn. But without the intricacies, it just always sounds bad on its surface. Because even as I say it, damn, Doc, you were up 3-1. You couldn't win one fucking game? You were up 3-0. You couldn't win one fucking game? And then you remind that it's an Orlando team that had no business being there. And you remember how well of a coaching job he did. It was a Clippers team that lost their floor general and their best player. And before they got that one guy, they were barely making the playoffs. With all of that talent. They literally had that same team and added one guy. And we've seen what having that same team and adding this one guy can do for you. For the Clippers, it brought them to the Western Conference Championship, I think. Definitely the second round. I want to say he got to the Western Conference Championship. For Phoenix, it brought them to the NBA Finals. But then, signature move. We'll talk about signature moves when we talk about this one guy later. Because this one guy had probably one of the most perfect closeout games you can ever have. Which still sets him up, or sets us up to be a victim of his signature move. But at least they took care of business. And that's what happened last night. Business was taken care of. Whether you're a New York Jets fan, a New York Giants fan, or a Philadelphia 76ers fan. Business was taken care of. You were up 3-2. You were playing Toronto. Toronto was the lower seed team, right? They've been a nice story this year, continuing to battle, continuing to show improvement. They got Rookie of the Year. I think really that Rookie of the Year announcement really helped spark an injection of adrenaline into that team. I think that's what really helped. And that along with Joel Embiid's thumb dislocation and ligament tear. Right? So that coupled with that Rookie of the Year announcement, coupled with the injury to Philadelphia's best player, especially on his hands, right? As you see him adjust to it. I remember the first game he got the injury. Just watching him adjust to having that injury, which a lot of times it just takes time to, right? Because a lot of times it's just a little bit more swollen that first day than it is by day number 6. You have just maybe like, even if it's still torn, you just may have just a little bit mobility. Some of that tenderness that was there on day 1, it's kind of subsided just a little bit more by day 6, or you're just now used to it. Dude, who had an MLA closeout game and Kyle Lowry signature move? Who had an immaculate closeout game? Sorry, immaculate. Let me pop my screen bigger. Can't do that here. Yes, I can. There we go. Now we had a hell of now in this game. Philly took care of business, and honestly, it was a close game for the first half. For the first half, it was a pretty close game, and then the second half came, or more importantly, the third quarter came, and next thing you know, Philly is outscoring Toronto 37-17 in the third quarter and didn't look back. It was a 20-point lead. They outscored them by 20 points in the third quarter. They outscored them by another 14 in the third. That is 34 points they got outscored by in the second half of that game. They lost the game by 35 points. So that shows you how close it was in the first half. We're talking about the first half. We're talking about a 1-point game that ended in a 35-point blowout. Just saying. And listen, I was worried. There were times that I was still worried about this Toronto team, even up to the point where Philadelphia was up by 22 points. 3 minutes left to go in the in the third quarter. With just about 3 minutes left to go, they were up by 22 points. And I'm letting you know, I'm watching this game, and I'm still not convinced that Philly was going to win this game. It still looked like Toronto had fight in them. And as we're getting from SB, they said they ran out of juice. They did the same thing with games 4 or 5 and half of 6. Just couldn't keep up. Just couldn't keep it rolling. See, Cole Anthony Towns disappointed. His team shooting 3 for 8 already. But it was a hell of a third quarter. Like that's really where things made a difference. But not just not that from the third quarter. We saw finally Tyrese Maxey have a good game on the road in the playoffs. And also James Harden had a good game too. But for me, I feel that the explosion of Tyrese Maxey is really the injection of not just energy, but of scoring that this team needs from somebody else not named Joel Embiid and somebody else not named Tobias Harris. That's going to be the guy that when he goes off, they're probably going to win more times than not. Not James Harden, because James Harden has... What's that? Oh, say that again for me, SB?
I can't remember if it was game 1 or game 2, but I think it was game 1. Maxey was torching us. He was getting to the rim 891. He was making us look foolish. Maxey's the real deal.
Yeah. I think like he balled out in game 1 and game 2, but yeah, I think it was game 1 where I think that's where he had like that 44-point game or some ridiculous shit like that. But no, and then game 3 and 4 he was pedestrian. But that's what happens sometimes to role players on the like when they go on the road, right? And Tyrese Maxey is still he's still young enough to have a role player mentality, but he needs to realize that he's not the third option on that team. He's not the fourth option on the team. When Tyrese Maxey plays like he's the second option on that team, because Tobias Harris also has a follower's mentality, right? He's a role playing guy. He's not coming into every game like, oh, I need to be the second best player on this team. His mentality. Listen, I don't know this for sure, but I'm just going based off of body language and how it looks like he approaches the game in game. And it looks like he's okay being a third option, a fourth option, a fifth option, whatever option you need him to be. And because he's not aggressively going after being the number 2 guy. Or maybe even going after being a number 1 guy, and you shoot for the moon, you fall amongst the stars. You try to be the number 1 guy and prove to be the number 2 guy. But Tyrese Maxey, he can go out there and be and be young enough and confident enough and just ignorant enough, right, in a good way, that I can go out there and I can be the number 2 guy on a team that has Joel Embiid, James Harden, and Tobias Harris. Because Tobias Harris has already conceded to his role, and James Harden has been trying to get to this role forever. I keep telling you guys, James Harden said to us, he went on national television and said to us, I don't want to score 50 points per game. I have to for my team to have a chance to win. I don't want to. Which made me also realize at some point in time he wanted to go to a team where he didn't have to score 50 points a game, but also in the same breath, he didn't realize that what he needed to do in retrospect is he needed to do whatever it took for his team to have to win. See, he said that in that statement and didn't realize that was the most important thing that he said, that he was doing whatever it took his team to have to win. He got to these other teams with other superstars, and he takes it, and he's able to take games off now. He's not doing what he has to win. He's just doing what he has to look productive. And that's a major difference. That's basically signing another Tobias Harris. I told you this. Once James Harden stopped having that first week of 40 and 50-point games or games where he was having 22 assists, even though he had 15 assists in this game, right? He fell back to a genuine 22-8 guy. And while that's not a bad thing to have for consistency from one of your other players, one, that's not what they got you there for. And two, that doesn't give them a James Harden that they traded for. That gives them another Tobias Harris. You can get another Tobias Harris for a lot cheaper than what you're going to pay James Harden for. Because you're about to give James Harden $250 million. Just saying. Kyrie Irving too. He's set to make $250 million. Ben Simmons as well. Next time he resigns his contract, $250 million. I know you guys don't think of it like that. You just hear 250 million, 240 million. Let's go ahead and reframe this. $250 million. I just mentioned 3 guys I would not pay. I just mentioned 3 guys I wouldn't. If I had to sign them for 4 years, 3 of those years are going to be team options. And if you don't want that, then go catch a market somewhere. And see how many people think that you're fresh fruit. Go sell yourself on the market. I may be Tobias, but I take 6 Raptors over Harris right now. But no, you seriously. But you have Tobias Harris like players. They're just nice, consistent guys. They can do a little bit of work everywhere. Nobody is really stepping out to be the man or show like you. You kind of have a lot of those. That's what makes Scotty Barnes so appealing right now, because he already looks like a Pascal Siakam, and Pascal Siakam kind of looks like Tobias Harris sometimes in his role, in his role, not in his gameplay, in his role.
the thing that impressed me with Scotty is the fact that he missed those games, and then when he came back for Game 4, the team almost changed. It's like somehow the rookie was the guy that kind of turned things around for us. But we got Scotty back to get a chance now.
You're right, and it's funny because he came back for Game 4, but the announcement for his Rookie of the Year happened before Game 3, and even that announcement I thought was the spark of the injection of energy that helped Toronto win that first game. They were like, damn, we got this rookie out here. He just did this. We're in a celebratory mode. Let's go out and play hard for our rookie. You know what I mean? Show him that this wasn't all for nothing. Let's show him what the North is all about. Let's show him what Toronto pride is about, what Canada pride is about.
I think you're right. They did that right, though. They did that properly. With Vince Carter being the guy in the video presenting him the award, kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it was a big pump-up moment for the crowd, and they got us into it.
That it was. I thought Vince Carter making that announcement was a very nice touch. It was a very nice, heartwarming and certified, and because also he's one of the faces of that franchise, one of the legacy faces of that franchise. Vince Carter is when it comes to Toronto, and he's also he was the second Rookie of the Year winner that franchise produced, and he's passing it on to the third Rookie of the Year. So also that whole pass it forward thing. Because listen, I hope that when the next time that Toronto produces their next Rookie of the Year, that Scotty Barnes is the person that produces it to them. I would like to see that tradition happen now. You know what I mean? Like, okay, the guy that won the last Rookie of the Year presented to the next guy from this organization. Like, I thought that was very heartwarming. I was like, damn. Now I kind of want a rookie in New York to win Rookie of the Year just to see what they do. And if they don't do something,
we all hated Vince for a long time, but if it wasn't for him, I don't think the team would still be in Toronto.
You're right. Put it this way, if it wasn't for Vince, right now you'll be the Las Vegas Raptors.
Exactly. We came in the same time as the Grizzlies, and because of that, the only reason that we got popular and got some buzz in the figures for the team.
Exactly, and that's the reason why I said that. Because the Grizzlies right now, for most people, they only know them as Memphis, and they have no clue they were in the Western Vancouver. They forget about that. Like I said, for most people's knowledge, like the Memphis Grizzlies era started with Zach Randolph.
Big country Brian Reeves.
Yeah.
The pre-Zach Randolph.
For real, you know what I mean? But there's a whole nother era before them, and Toronto could have been that. Like they could have lost that market too, but you had an exciting player in the game, one of the most exciting players in the game, that gave you a full exciting 7 years and really helped build the foundation for that franchise to be able to be where they're at now. In the country of Canada, and not, you know what I mean, in some forgotten state in the United States, or some forgotten city in the United States. Listen, I love the fact that there's oh my God, whoa, breaking news, Joel Embiid, whoa, the 76ers just lost the second round. They just lost the second round, folks.
MyT!
Joel Embiid out indefinitely, right orbital fracture and a mild concussion after taking that elbow from Pascal Siakam in Game 6.
I thought you knew about this. This is what sparked the Twitter war between you and the entire city of Philadelphia.
I did not know about this. I don't know where I've been in a different world today. I did not. I've been. You know what though? Probably because I've been engulfed in football today. I didn't pay attention to really anything basketball today. I did not know about this. Is this the... Damn it. I'm glad I'm still talking Philly, Toronto. This adds a whole different kind of spice to this seasoning right now. So why are you beefing with Philly fans? Now I'm curious. Why are you beefing with Philly fans, SB? Why are you out there antagonizing Philly fans?
I don't think I started it, but they were talking about how Toronto fans are classless because... See, what happened was the Toronto broadcast when the Siakam elbow happened, it was right after Embiid had that big dunk, and he was doing the airplane down the court, and then 10 seconds later Siakam put his elbow in his face. And the Toronto color commentator was like, you know what? That's karma. You get what you deserve. But obviously, nobody knew at the time it was that serious.
Roger.
And everyone was like, Toronto, scumbag, scumbag city. And I'm like, scumbags? I'm like, Philadelphia is the birthplace of scumbags. I'm not saying a compliment.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Scumbag is like a term of endearment, I thought.
Oh, my God. That's actually funny. That, you know what, though? That's just somebody from Philly just trying to start beef. Because if you knew anything about Canada and Toronto, they are far from scumbag fans or scumbag city. Like, if Pascal Siakam was actually from Toronto, after he elbowed Joel Embiid, he would have apologized and invited him to dinner right then and there, and gave him the ball and possession. Like, you know what? This belongs to you. Like,
there's two sides of it, though. There's the intelligent Philly fans who cannot be like, weren't y'all the ones that cheered when KD got injured in the finals? And I don't really have a comeback for that because they're right. But then you got the other guys like, oh, you're just a racist.
Oh,
racist.
shit. Sorry. I got more breaking news. Something else I didn't know about. Shakur Stevenson is fighting this Saturday on ESPN+. That is another one. Oh, man. My Saturday is going to be fucking busy. Yeah, I thought I was going to get a little bit of rest somewhere in there. I ain't getting no rest. So, man, it's crazy. Because Miami and Philly was already... I will talk matchups later, right? But Miami and Philly was already set to be a tough matchup. And I was going to be interested anyway. Especially with Jimmy Butler going to his old team. And we know how Jimmy Butler holds grudges. Like Jimmy Butler holds grudges and fucks people's bitches. That's only 2 things I know about Jimmy Butler. I also say he has coffee. 3 things. Right? So that was already going to be an interesting saga, interesting series anyway. Now with the fact that Joel Embiid may not be there, and you're talking about now this has to be James Harden that we have to rely on, because that's where the shift is going. I mean, we just made a whole slew to talk about Tyrese Maxey, right, and how he truly is that X factor, but who everybody's going to lean on, and where the voice of and where the vocal and all the vocal blame or vocal support or all the vocal attention is going to go to is going to be towards James Harden. And he's now going to be the guy responsible for helping this Philly team that had championship aspirations get them through the second round against a Miami team that is a team that is disciplined, they're hungry, they're dogs, and that triple step back shit that you do, they're not going to allow happen. I'm telling you right now, we already saw it, right? We already saw it in the first round with Miami when they played Atlanta. Don't be surprised if you see it again when they play Philly. They gave Trae Young the Jeremy Lin treatment. Don't be surprised if they give James Harden the same. Because these guys, these athletes today, they are too stupid and they are too soft to be able to get through that Jeremy Lin treatment. And Jeremy Lin at that time was too. He was small. He just wasn't too skilled enough. Jeremy Lin had to earn his toughness after that couple years. So even then, Jeremy Lin was too soft. And Jeremy Lin is tough. Is considered tough for this era. Just letting you guys know right now. Oh man, I gotta get back to work, brother. Oh, I appreciate you stopping by the podcast. I do appreciate it as well. Yo, you be good. You be safe as well. You continue to stay MyT as well. Yeah, this first round just took on a whole entire different life of its own now. I did not know that Joel Embiid was out injured. I did not know. But let's go ahead and give you a quick update on this game. We have the Memphis Grizzlies up. The Memphis Grizzlies currently losing at halftime to the Minnesota Timberwolves, 52-49. The Grizzlies currently lead the series 3-2. Ja Morant so far only has 4 points through the half. So now we're about to see a miraculous half by Ja Morant. Ooh. Bane just put Karl Anthony Towns in the spin cycle. Bust a 3 in his eye. Say good night. Close your eyes. I see Mia still in the background. Thank you, Mia, for still sticking with the podcast. Did I tell you I was single now, Mia? think you kind of figured that out when I told you I had somebody that I may need you to give a tongue lashing to. And not in the I kissed a girl and I like it kind of way. Oh man. So let's continue to march forward, right? Let's continue to march forward, right? And big up to Tyrese Maxey finally having a good game on the road. Right? But let's continue to march forward and let's get into this Phoenix and New Orleans game. I'm telling you, things are just looking different right now. This is really good when you find information out real time. This is why sometimes I don't like to find information out beforehand. Or depends what I find out before, because I start writing shit down and shit starts coming to my head and I'm like, damn, this ain't gonna come out the same exact way when I have to do this podcast a little bit later. It's gonna come out way more refined and I kind of watered down because I would have gone through this so many times in my head, and I'm giving you down the watered down version because I feel like you've heard this now already. But I've heard this now already, and the voices in my head as WWE celebrates 20 years of RKO, the voices, Randy Orton that is, the voices in my head, they tell me that they've heard this already before, and that's where the dilemma comes in, right? But Phoenix and New Orleans, right? And you guys stop me when you hear this. But before we move on, as we told you, Philly just beat Toronto 132-97. They win that series 4-2. And the Toronto Raptors have become the newest city to join the...
Stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing.
Robert.
I didn't do this stuff. This is for my life. Y'all killing me with this.
That's not what they're part of. What the heck is going on here? You know what? Let's go ahead and give them the other one. They didn't want the short one, so let's give them the...
But they are who we thought they were.
Loser! You're a loser! Are you feeling sorry for yourself? Well, you should be, because you are dirt! You make me sick, you big baby! Baby want a bottle? A big dirt bottle?
Failed this city! You have failed this city! You have failed this city!
You could have just said he was nuts.
You have failed this city!
Well, they have joined the newest members to have failed their city, folks. And at least Toronto took care of business. At least not Toronto, but at least Philly took care of business. And one of those times where they didn't even leave the door open. Once they got into the second half, there was no room for doubt. Even though I had doubt, they didn't leave room for doubt for a lot of people that they were going to come away with that victory. And the Toronto Raptors will be going back home, sipping on their maple syrup, head held down low, being very polite and telling the good folks of Toronto that, hey,
You have failed this city.
And then we have Phoenix and New Orleans. The game that started at 7 o'clock Eastern Time, 4 o'clock Western Time, and 6 o'clock in New Orleans time, Central Time. As Phoenix Suns were also up 3-2 in that series, and they were also trying to find out if they can induct the New Orleans Pelicans into the
You have failed this city.
club. Now, for the last couple of games, we've seen New Orleans, right, do everything that they can to exhaust Chris Paul. And what they've been doing is that they've been trying to take advantage of the Phoenix Suns not having Devin Booker, who left the game a couple of games ago, right, with a sore hamstring. And we've seen him miss 2 games, and in those 2 games, the Phoenix Suns happened to split those 2 games. And we were sitting here wondering what was going to continue to happen if the series went any longer. Because we saw what they were doing to Chris Paul. We saw how they were pressuring him. They were picking up from full court. They were making life miserable for him. And we also, and you could see that they were trying to do the long game, where if we can get this to game 6, possibly game 7, right, we could just keep exhausting him. And by game 7, he may not have enough in the tank to be able to help, to be able to be the player that he has been early in the series that help them get victories. Well, you know what? Devin Booker said, no, au contraire, mon frère, I'm not going to let you pick on my big bro like that. And Devin Booker came back from his hamstring injury. And even though he only put up 13 points, right? He played 32 minutes. And that 32 minutes of play, right, is enough. He acts as enough of a distraction on the court to be able to keep the New Orleans Pelicans defense honest. You hear us talk about this in so many different sports. Baseball, football, basketball. Doing things to keep the defense honest. And that's what Devin Booker was there to do. With Devin Booker there, you can't pick up Chris Paul full court. You know he has an assassin as an outlet. You can't cheat on him. You can't blitz him off the screen and roll. You can't double team him as often as you were, because you know that you have a guy there as an assassin. And his existence as an assassin completely changes the dynamic of your defensive game plan and structure. Now again, Devin Booker didn't do much. He only put up 13 points, but it was his presence. It was his presence that did it all, and it did more than it did it all. Than do it all. His presence allowed Miles Bridges to go 7 for 12 and score 18 points. Even Crowder managed to get 9 points. We know he can't shoot for shit. He can't even make open layups half the time. But it allowed Miles Bridges to have the great shooting percentage of 7 for 12 and get 18 points for plus 7. It allowed DeAndre Ayton to have the second best shooting percentage on the team, as he shot 10 for 12. 7 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal, and a block. 22 points plus 4 in the plus minus. Devin Booker's presence allowed Chris Paul to have the best closeout game in his career and in NBA playoff history. He has literally had the perfect ending to a series. Chris Paul had 33 points to lead all scorers in his 36 minutes of play. In those 36 minutes of play, .33 points, 14 for 14 from field goal range. He took 1 3-point shot, made 1 3-point shot. Took 4 free throws, made all 4 free throws. Chris Paul did not miss 1 shot this whole entire game. Plus minus of 17. 5 rebounds, 8 assists, and a steal. 3 turnovers. And he got a little bit of revenge on Alvarado. Is that his name? Alvarado? Jose Alvarado. He got a revenge on a blind screen from Alvarado that sent him flying and onto the floor. Now it's crazy, right? Because this is the yin of Chris Paul that we talk about, as we also talk about his yang as well. Pause. Where he makes teams better. He can put up performances like this to help excel his team to the other round. And listen, we expect his team to get past the first round. It's, can you do it when it matters? Can you do it at the point that we really need you, that your team really needs you the most? Now listen, we warned you guys. And it's a good thing that Devin Booker came through because Chris Paul was about to pull off his signature move, and that has let you down when it matters the most, or when he has the biggest odds, or when you think that he can. This is when he's able to get a job done. Of course, we just saw Tennessee Titans grab a quarterback, Malik Willis. Ooh. We got some words about Tennessee in a minute. Damn it! I've been meaning to go downstairs and grab a beer for a minute now. I may have to find a way. I'm gonna have to play a commercial real soon. We got a commercial break coming up soon. Oh, we still got like 30 minutes. I don't know if I could wait 30 minutes to go grab a beer. This is like the only time I miss having a girlfriend. I could have sent her downstairs to get my beer. Well, that's not the only time. Like at night when I'm going to sleep and when I wake up in the morning too. Like I miss having a warm hole. Like those two things too. Like, you know, when you wake up with that morning wood, there's nothing better than a warm hole for that morning wood. Like I kind of miss that, but everything attached to that hole was toxic as fuck. Like she was violent. She like she was unfaithful. She was vindictive. Like she was torturous. She was everything. Like she was an abusive girlfriend. Like yo, I can vouch for Johnny Depp, yo. Like my girlfriend was the same. She wasn't pooping on like in the middle of the bed. But she had done some similar shit like that one day where she poured like lotion and the fuck is it? Hand sanitizer. Like she poured that shit in the middle of the bed for no fucking reason one day. Pissed me the fuck off. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm changing bed sheets. If somebody wants to be fucking stupid. I feel you, Johnny Depp. And trust me, she used to say the same shit like that. Like, yo, I used to tell you guys, like, yo, every day I was living my life in fear. Like she was that kind of broad. And she used to say the same shit that Johnny Depp's girl said. Like, yo, nobody's gonna believe you because you're a dude. So let's continue on with this Phoenix and New Orleans, right? So Phoenix, they take care of business and they win their game 115-109. And this game is one of those games that, even if we tell you that, is that Ray Allen? That is not Ray Allen. I am tripping, right? Yeah, I am tripping. Okay. Thought Ray Allen. I gotta get back. Oh, that's somebody different. That's an old message. So, like we said, Chris Paul has his signature moment, and they get a chance to move on. As Chris Paul doesn't miss one single shot in this game. And, excuse me, now them as the 1 seed, they're waiting on this 4-5 seed matchup between these. No wait, this is 3-6. I'm tripping. I am tripping. I am big time tripping, because I'm over here like, yo, like they waiting on this matchup, but no, it's not this matchup. This isn't the matchup at all. Like the next matchup is I'm over here thinking that the 1 seed gonna play the 4 seed, but they are the 1 seed about to play the 4 seed. I thought Memphis and Minnesota was the 4-5. The 4-5 was Dallas and Utah. We'll talk about that one next. Can't give that away yet. But Phoenix, they took a best. Like I said, this game was 115-109, and while this game was almost the complete opposite of the Philly game, where Philly had their game wrapped up in the third quarter, this game came down to the last 14 seconds, last 15 seconds, the last minute, last 30 seconds of the game. This came all the way down to the wire, and Phoenix pulled it off. It took free throws. It took last second shots. A couple of fouls at the end. And they ended up winning this game. And they inducted New Orleans into the
You have failed this city
club. So that's 2 teams that joined the club last night. You had Toronto that joined the "You Have Failed This City" club, and also New Orleans. And then there was the 4-5 matchup between Dallas and Utah. And again, this is one of those games, right, where I'm watching as a Knicks fan. And I'm thinking to myself that I'm only watching this. I'm watching this with a very big one-sided feeling. And that is that I kind of want Utah to get beaten bad enough that Donovan Mitchell gets fed up to not want to be there. Now, do I think that may happen? Actually, no, I do. There's a small part of me that does, actually. There actually is a very small part of me that honestly believes that, because in today's game, I'm not going to put it past anybody. I'm not going to put it past any star to come out here and say that, you know what, I no longer want to be a Karl Anthony Towns 12 points and 4-11 shooting. I'm not going to put it past anybody that, you know what, even after signing your contract, that you say, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore. I want to go. I want to leave. I want to go somewhere where if I either feel that I have a better chance to win, or I feel comfortable losing it. That's really what it is. I either have a better chance to win there, or if I'm gonna lose, I'd rather lose on this team with their benefits, with their market, or whatever it is. You see Bills Mafia on the clock, 89th pick. So today's broadcast of the NFL draft is almost complete, as the third round is going to be coming to a wrap pretty soon. Let's see, how many picks are in the third round? 105. Okay, I lied. I'm over here thinking 32, 32, 32. 64, right? I mean, 96. I'm tripping. Compensatory picks at the end of the third? Is that what that happens now? What are your 9 compensatory picks? Maybe that's what that is. Karl Anthony Towns is on the floor, looking like he just took a shot to the eye. I ain't gonna lie, I'm ready to talk draft, right? I can always come back. We'll come back. I think I'll always come back, and we can always talk basketball a little bit more. Well, how much time we have here? It's about halfway through the podcast. You know what? Nah, we'll wrap it up here. Spend the final half of the podcast talking football for the most part. All right. Nah, we'll come back. We'll come back. I know where I left off at. Phoenix and New Orleans, them being washed. We'll come back and we'll talk about Dallas and Utah in a second. Actually, we'll talk Dallas Utah now, because there ain't a lot to talk about Dallas and Utah. Dallas and Utah, that series was also up 3-2, and I know I've been very disappointed with Utah, because there were games that they could have won when Dallas didn't have Luka Doncic, and they could have already wrapped up this series. But they blew 2 games with this team didn't have Luka, and they find themselves losing now 4-2. Last game they lose 98-96. And this game, not only did they lose 98-96, but I said this, right? And I prefaced this. I've been saying this. You know how I keep saying that I kind of want Utah to lose in such a fashion that's so heartbreaking to Donovan Mitchell that he wants to leave. Well, in this game, they were down 98-96. Utah gets the timeout, right? And they run the inbound play. Bogdanovich, whatever his name is, right? I can't find information on the paper, right? for Bogdan Bogdanovic, right? He flares out, so they have the inbound play. It's coming from the right side, right? They run the play. Bogdan Bogdanovic, he curls all the way around, and he ends up on the left wing of the 3-point line, right? His man is closing out hard. Bogdan pump fakes. His man flies by him. I think it's Anthony Edwards. Don't know. But his man flies by him. Sorry, wrong series. I said Anthony Edwards. His man flies by Spencer Dinwiddie, maybe. But his man flies by him. Is that Tom Jones? It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. And Marcus Allen making the picks for the Raiders right now with pick number 90. I told you this why I like the second and third rounds. So his man flies right by him. And Bogdan Bogdanovic gets a wide open shot. Bogdan is a 3-point shooter now. So this is his moment. Wide open 3-point shots. This is his time. This is what they got you for. For the kick out wide open threes. Bogdan sees that his man is flied by him, sets his feet, takes the shot. I shoot the shot. I miss the shot. He misses a wide open 3-point shot, and his team loses by 2. And again, I look at this, and I think to myself, what a horrible world. It must be for Donovan Mitchell to have to be stuck on a team in this scenario. And I look at Donovan Mitchell's face after this, and he has the look where he's just like, you know what? I'm used to this by now. I'm used to this is my fate on this team. So we'll see if he acts to be traded or not during this offseason. There's possibly other moves coming up this offseason as well. We'll come back and we'll talk about that. Like we'll listen. We'll come and we'll drop back into a little bit of basketball. We'll talk about somebody else who had some money talks. Let's actually talk about some real money talks, right? Because that's what we saw in this NFL draft, right? This is the money talk portion of it, right? Like this is the time that you're looking at your team and you're like, yo, you are either hitting on these picks or you're not hitting on these picks. You either coming up money or you're coming up broke. And for once, it really feels like that both New York teams got it right. And I know that you still have to develop players and you still have to turn them into whomsoever that you need to turn them into. Right? The stars that they're destined to be. Right? The individuals that they were drafted to be or whatever. You know what I mean? The individual that you expected them to be when you drafted them, wherever you drafted them at. And listen, for the most part, until we see them play, until we see them either be able to overcome franchises' generational curses, or they actually, or the franchises actually have the right. Damn, I want a Taco Bell breakfast box now. Or the two teams have the right developmental team in place to help unlock the potential that these guys are and have. Even one or two things can happen. I don't know why every time I click this thing, it opens itself back up. So last night, we had the NFL draft. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. What a draft it was. Now, as far as the first pick goes, right? I think it became a general concession of who may have been the first pick overall. And like I said, we're not going to go into a lot of these guys. But I am going to go definitely at least 1 through 5. And because 1 through 5 covers a couple of things, it shows you a pattern that this draft had, because this wasn't a draft where they thought it was a strong quarterback draft, and because it's also going to take us through the first 2 picks for New York, 1 for the Jets and 1 for the Giants. So let's get on our way. With the first pick, the Jacksonville Jaguars picked the defensive end out of Georgia, Trayvon Walker. Right? As he goes to Jacksonville, and Jacksonville now, they look to solidify portions of their defense. Now, another team looking to solidify a portion of their defense also happens to be the Detroit Lions, who was second on the clock, and they also picked a defensive end out of Michigan, Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know why I think he's fucking with me. Now, with the third pick in the 2022 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans picked the defensive back out of LSU, Derek Stingley Jr. Now, this is the portion of the draft where we care. So us New Yorkers, right? So with the 4th pick of the draft, this is the 4th pick of the draft. This is where the New York Jets we're picking, and I think I gave you guys my dream scenario. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they grab a nice running back, Rashad somebody. I missed it. I forgot his last. I'm missing his last name. Right, so on Wednesday I gave you guys my dream scenario. And what my dream scenario stated was that I really wanted the New York Jets to pick up with their 4th pick, with their first round picks. I wanted them to go double D's, and then with their 2nd round picks, I wanted them to go double C's. Right? And what I meant, I wanted to go defense in the 1st round, and catcher in the 2nd round, or at least offense, right? And part of that was me saying that, listen, it all depends on what you can get later. If it doesn't look like that wide receiver, that dynamic wide receiver, or somebody comparable to a wide receiver is going to be there at that time, then you know what? Maybe you get him early, but also, if you think you have somebody comparable, you go and you pick him up in the 2nd round. But solidify that defense, solidify the pass rush, solidify the corner, right? And I know they were thinking about going corner first, but I was thinking pass rush first, right? Because if you can force the quarterback to get the ball out of their hand quicker, you can still get decent corners that can do their job. Versus if you can't force the quarterback to get the ball out of their hand, you may have a corner trying to cover for 7 to 10 seconds. Or however long that is. That's an unreasonable amount of time for them to be truly successful, or to set them up for success. So my dream scenario was really about solidifying that defense first, and then you can start solidifying your offense. And that's part of the reason why I said, you know what? Get 2 wide receivers then and start building some competition. But somehow in those first 4 picks, I needed them to solidify edge rush, solidify cornerback, and solidify or get 2 pieces on defense and solidify that solidify a wide receiver. And that's exactly what the New York Jets did. Good God Almighty. With the 4th pick in the NFL Draft, the New York Jets pick Sauce Gardner, cornerback, Cincinnati. And you know what? I'm not upset. I'm not fully upset. This is said to be the best cornerback in the game. This is said to be your next coming of Darrelle Revis. And we know what Darrell Revis has been. Revis Island was a real thing. Go ask Randy Moss. Go ask Megatron. Go ask Ocho Cinco. And a slew of other great receivers. Larry Fitzgerald at the time. You go look at those numbers and those years that he was there, putting people on islands. Minnesota currently still has the lead, folks, 79-72. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. We are now on pick 94 of the third round, and if I'm not mistaken, we only have about 11 more picks to go. Now, they get Sauce Gardner, and like I said, there's no complaints here. Right? Even if I wanted the edge rusher, I'm not upset with Sauce. And that's one of the things we was hoping for. Like, yo, I got the Sauce. We got the Sauce. You would hope. Trust me when I said there was a big portion of Jets fans and New Yorkers, period. I was hoping that Sauce Gardner landed in New York. Whether he landed in New York as a Giant or a Jet. He was hoping that that's where he landed. And he landed as a Jet. And with a defensive head coach at that. We're hoping to see big improvements on this Jets offense, Jets defense. Now, with the 5th pick of the NFL draft, the New York Giants come behind and they pick Kayvon Thibodeau, or Thibodeau, right? And I've been meaning to talk about Kayvon Thibodeau for a while now, right? Again, at least for the Giants, right? And even though I'm talking as a Jets fan, I'm talking as a New Yorker here, in this period. Great pickup for them. Edge rusher. All the things that I talked about that makes an edge rusher great, Kayvon Thibodeau has. He has a great swim move. He has the quickest first step, if not one of the quickest first steps, because I don't know if it's 1, 2, or 3, but I feel like he has the quickest first step off the line of anybody in this draft class. Has a great swim move, able to get to the quarterback. Now, and obviously when you're able to get to the quarterback, you're able to rush the quarterback into doing things that they generally don't want to do, and usually that's panic with the football, or throw the football into coverage. And next, if you have a cornerback back there, you get interceptions. Now, there's been something they've been talking about with Kayvon Thibodeau for the last month or so that I've been really meaning to get into, right? And I ain't gonna lie, I thought Thibodeau was white, only because he's only Thibodeau's. I could have sworn when they showed me a video of him the first time I thought he was a white dude, but he's not. So maybe it's Manning I'm thinking about. Maybe I started confusing him with somebody named Manning coming out in this draft or in the NCAA. That could be it. It could be a Manning I'm thinking about. Carolina Panthers are on the clock. Now, Kayvon Thibodeau has been getting a bad rep for having and wanting to have off-court or off-the-field interest. Wanting to think about other things or thinking about what other things that he can do outside of football. And that started giving people a bad rap as if he don't care about football, as if football isn't the number one thing on his mind. But I was like, damn. Like, why are you trying to devalue this guy? Like this man, I think he was a white dude. Like, why are you trying to devalue him so much? What is wrong with having outside interest? And it made me realize that the NFL does this, right? Anytime that you speak of or you think that, oh, okay, you know what? Not only am I playing football, I'm thinking about, hey, I can do this, I can do that, because now opportunities are going to open up to me. There's only so many times there's only so many hours you can put in lifting weights. There's only so many hours you can put in practicing technique. There's only so many hours you can put it in film. Those hours that you're not doing that, why can't you start a fashion line? Why can't you work on a rap career? Why can't you work on a music career? Why can't you work on owning a business? Why can't you work on owning an Amazon fleet? Why can't you? You see what I end up realizing is the NFL, when they hear these individuals start to talk about outside interest or other options, they get upset because then they can't hold. They realize that you're smarter than the average bear, and that when push comes to shove, they can't hold football being your only option and the only thing that you get that you know to make money off of, and utilize that to hold you hostage mentally as they physically utilize your body. Yeah, they see, because remember, the NFL owners used to think of players as jokes. So when I heard this rhetoric come out about Thibodeau, and like I said, this one I was thinking he was a white dude. That it just didn't sit well with me, because it sounded like the rhetoric that they always trying to say when they realize I may not be able to control this person, and I may not be able to use football to manipulate this person, because this person smartly has other interests. This person wisely is already thinking of other options that can generate money for them that isn't just the NFL, so that they don't become fully dependent on the NFL. See, they don't want the NFL to be used as a thing to help somebody spark their platform. They want to use all these players, and then you can get whatever platform you want to after we're done with you. And it's not just football; it's in other sports too. But places like basketball, you've heard them talk. That doesn't come up as much anymore. They'll dial down their verbiage, their rhetoric, and sorry, interrupted by players. They're going into the third. They're going into now in the fourth quarter of this Memphis and Minnesota game with Minnesota up. Right, like in basketball, they've learned to dial it down and to be respectful. In NFL, I'm sorry, they're still stuck in those I'm gonna say good old boy ways, but let's just call it racist boys ways, right? And they're like, yeah, if you have other options, then we know that we can't fully control you, because you are wise enough to realize that, you know what, there's another side to this, and there's another money making side to this while I'm in my peak appearance. Because listen, for some of these guys, your peak interest or your highest form of celebrity may be on draft day, because you may be a bust after that. So if you're able to get yourself a couple of deals on draft night, because you just got drafted, get all of them shits. Because who knows how you're going to be utilized next year? Who knows what kind of team you're going to go to that may make you look like a bum? Because the Jets have been known for that. The Giants have been known for that. Jacksonville has been known for that. So again, any good and smart businessman will tell you strike while the iron's hot. But in the NFL, they don't want you to strike when the iron's hot. They want to heat up their finances off of your heat. And then they want you to strike when your iron is cold. Lukewarmish. Because the only way it's going to be hot when you're done playing the game is if you're a bona fide Hall of Famer. See, other than that, they don't want you taking advantage of it. But yet, some of these franchises, they aren't producing Hall of Fame franchises. They ain't building model franchises. See? So when they started talking that shit about Thibodeau, I always thought, like, you know what, this is just them pulling that rhetoric that they pull when they realize we have somebody here that we may not be able to control. And Thibodeau was a guy that was always supposed to go high in the draft. So not only were they upset that they had somebody they couldn't control, they were trying to devalue him. They were trying to find a way to try to humble him and cost him millions of dollars on signing day by defaming his name and character. I'm telling you, there's always reason. Every year I always find a reason, like, yo, this is why I fucking hate the NFL. And this is why I need to start watching these other football leagues. I really do, because I hate the NFL. They're scum. The people that run the NFL they're literally ran by at least 29 scumbags. I feel like maybe 25. That's being generous. But they really are pathetic. They really are despicable with the way that they run their league and the things that they do to their players and how they treat their players. It is really a sorry sight to behold. I really hate covering the NFL. I really do. I really do hate covering the NFL at times. Like it has been the worst league for me to cover over the last couple of years. But it's one of the most popular leagues out there, and it draws emotions out of people. It even draws emotions out of me. Like it even causes me to forget at times. But I don't do anything that gives them. Well, I guess I'm using their app right now, so I guess I found a way to give them rating. But I generally don't watch most games on a rating provided platform. Yeah. Fuck you. Man. Okay, folks, we're gonna take our next commercial break soon, and that's mainly because we have to take a hard break right around here. We're gonna lose the feed on Podbean coming up real soon. So for everybody else, you're gonna hear me running a commercial. For the people on Podbean, you may hear a portion of the commercial, or you may get cut off before that commercial comes on. All you need to do is go back into the live section. You'll see the next scheduled feed, and go ahead and click on that, and that's how you'll be able to rejoin the podcast immediately and not miss one thing. But we are about to take a little mini break. When we come back, we're going to continue to talk about this NFL draft. We're going to talk about how these New York and how these New York teams did. We're going to talk about a couple of these other teams. I ain't going to keep it strictly New York, but then also we're going to come back and we'll continue to talk a little bit of basketball. We even mentioned a little bit of baseball for you guys. All of that being crunched into the final hour, the MyT hour of the podcast. Folks, hope you enjoy. Hey yo, play my commercial.
They didn't join this team to win championships or become famous. They joined because there is important work to be done, and only some able to do it. They are brighter, better educated, led, and equipped than any team in history. They are doctors, lawyers, engineers, technologists, and combat troops, all prepared for whatever comes their way. You'll find them where the lights don't flash, and the only contract they sign is with themselves and their country. One day, they may be asked what they did to make a difference in this world. And they can respond, I became a soldier.
I still want to know what SB was doing working at 11 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. But this is welcome back to the podcast. I'm your boy, Untitled with the MyT Sports Podcast. Thank you guys for listening wherever and however you may be listening to the podcast. I do very much appreciate it. You guys have no clue how much this really means to me. That you would take this time, you would take a time out in your day to be able to listen to me, you know what I mean, and my ways. Oh shit, is that Barry Sanders coming out for the Detroit pick in the 3rd round? Why didn't I use Barry in the 1st round? Disrespectful sons of bitches. Sorry, my bad. Got a little carried away. I wrote something down that I really don't want to forget. I wrote something down that I know I really don't want to forget. Okay. I knew it was because of Detroit that reminded me. So that was the 4th and 5th picks of the NFL draft, right? And I told you I really wanted to go through the first, at least through pick number 5 all the way through, because also, what ended up happening was that, as we saw that the New York Jets picked up Sauce Gardner and the New York Giants picked up Kayvon Thibodeau, and both teams needed to address that spot and that side of the ball. You understand? Both of these teams in a lot of things, and that's why it really benefits that they had so many picks, especially in the first 2 rounds. But the only thing that happened here was that this is the first time in almost, I think, like a decade or so, right? Probably a little over a decade, that we have had a defensive player go in the first 5 picks. You understand? Like, just a year or so ago, we had quarterbacks going in the top 5 picks, right? You know how many times we've seen quarterbacks go 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we've even seen them go top 5. Well, this time around, it was all defensive players. As again, this just wasn't a strong. This wasn't a strong quarterback draft. Like I said, it took until the Carolina Panthers where they finally picked up offensive tackle Ike Ekwonu? Ekwonu? Whatever. I don't care. Right? But the 7th pick, the Giants will be back up on the board, right? And this is the pick that they got from Chicago. And they end up picking up offensive tackle out of Alabama, Evan Neal. Again, that's them trying to protect their quarterback. Right? So now you see them taking advantage of the other side of the ball and also taking advantage of that line. Now the Seahawks, they don't take a quarterback with their pick as it was thought that the Carolina Panthers may take a quarterback early in the first round, and maybe even the Seattle Seahawks may take a quarterback early in the first round. Neither one of them did that. Next pick on the board ended up being the New York Jets again, the 10th pick. And the New York Jets, they picked, and this is a pick they got from Seattle, by the way. And we told you that Seattle ended up picking 9th, but that's a pick where they got from Denver. Right, so the New York Jets, they got the number 10 pick, and they got that from Seattle. And they end up picking Garrett Wilson. So that also shows you that Seattle Seahawks, who had a pick before that, like they weren't going to add anymore. They weren't going to add a wide receiver to go with DK Metcalf. They wanted offensive tackle. When New York Jets pick up wide receiver, and then after that it was 3 straight wide receivers. Now just 3 straight wide receivers. Wide receivers from the same team went back to back as Ohio State. So Garrett Wilson went to the New York Jets, and also Chris Olave went to the New Orleans Saints. Now, I do want to talk about the 12th pick because this one was funny. As Alabama's wide receiver, Jameson Williams, ended up going to the Detroit Lions, and I am telling you, Buddy looked pissed. He looked pissed that he was going to Detroit. I don't know if he thought that he may go to New Orleans. I don't know if he thought he was going to go. I don't know if he thought he was going to go somewhere else. But I'm telling you, he looked pissed. What's going on, SB? I see SB texting me. Let's see. Big move up from my 2021 list where I had Zach at 32. Need an honest opinion from a New Yorker. Is this a joke too far? It's a normal reference for contact, fire changer, reference, cause, tragedy. I gotta see. I'm gonna have to find out a little bit later. I don't have time to get into all that. I can't read all that while doing a live podcast right now. We still live for a little bit longer. So, Jameson Williams looked so upset. So upset he was going to Detroit. I think he wanted to be in New Orleans with Jameis Wilson, my bad. But instead, he ends up in Detroit with a team that's rebuilding. But you know what, though? He may end up liking Detroit. He may actually end up liking Detroit because Detroit right now, they just turned themselves into a gritty team recently, right? They have that head coach Dan Campbell. You see Spreewell at this game. Dan Spree, how many free tickets you gonna take? See you at Knicks games, Minnesota games. What's next? Golden State? Folks, let's see what the score is. This game is now 91-84. 9 minutes to go. Minnesota is up 7 points. And Minnesota's trying to scave off elimination. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring this series back, get the series tied up 3-3, and force this to go into Memphis for Game 7. And both of these teams are too young to know how to close out, but Minnesota should have the experience and youth. I saw you, SB. I saw you sort of type in something, but I couldn't go ahead and read all that quite yet. So Jameis Williams, like I said, he may look pissed, and I don't know if he was truly pissed or not. He just looked upset to be going to Detroit. But he may oddly Detroit may end up being one of those gritty enough environments that, because they're young and developing. but they may end up being one of these gritty environments, right, based off of their current head coach, that he may actually thrive on. Because right now he's coming in with a chip on his shoulder. Well, guess what? Everybody in Detroit has a chip on their shoulder. Their coach has a chip on their shoulder. Their coach wants you to play as if you have a chip on your shoulder. So he actually may be going to the right environment, even though it didn't look like he was very happy. Now, the first quarterback of the draft did finally end up coming off the board. And that ended up happening for the 20th pick of the draft. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I think they moved. Did they move up? I thought they moved up for that pick. But I don't see any indication that they swapped with anything here. But they may have moved up for this pick. And they end up picking the quarterback out of Pittsburgh. So he doesn't have to go far. He already has a hometown following. See, and he's going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett. And you know what also, I just realized that it's intriguing for them too, because for the Pittsburgh Steelers, if for some reason there was some fans in the Pittsburgh area that weren't Steelers fans quite yet, or just didn't have a reason to go to games or wanted to go to the game because they just preferred the college thing a lot better, the college product better, now that they just signed the quarterback from Pittsburgh, you know how many transplant fans they're going to get? And the thing about it, Pittsburgh is one of those areas where you got to figure that there's such little to do, or there isn't so much to do there, that you have to figure by default that you get a lot of people in that town that's already just Pittsburgh Steelers fans. But if they weren't and they were only fans of the college team, you just got them. You just got 50% of them, at least. So they get Kenny Pickett, folks. They picked up Kenny Pickett with the 20th pick, and that was the first quarterback off the board. And while I was very happy with what the Jets did, and I was very happy with what the Giants did, and I was surprised that both of them looked like they got it right. I didn't even tell you that the New York Giants, they picked the offensive tackle out of Alabama, Evan Neal, as well. So they got the edge rusher, Thibodeau, and then they got the offensive tackle out of Alabama, Evan Neal. I think I did. Maybe I didn't mention that. Right? So even though I was very surprised that both New York teams actually managed to get it right, I'm not even, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm not even done. I am not even done. I'm going to tell you why I'm not done. I was going to start talking about some of the trades that started happening, right? Because it was the trades that happened in the draft that shocked me. Like I said, I was surprised that the New York teams got it right. Like, they got an A for every single pick. Like, damn. Like, they don't miss. And we know that these are teams that miss. Like, they did not miss in the first round. There was some, and that didn't shock me. I was surprised. These trades that happened shocked me. Cause still surprised that the New York Jets, after I'm thinking things are done with them, and I'm kind of preparing myself. Damn, I should have grabbed my beer during that commercial break. Fuck. You know what, folks? Don't be mad at me.
They didn't join this team to win championships or become famous. They joined because there is important work to be done, and only some able to do it. They are brighter, better educated, led, and equipped than any team in history. They are doctors, lawyers, engineers, technologists, and combat troops, all prepared for whatever comes their way. You'll find them where the lights don't flash, and the only contract they sign is with themselves and their country. One day, they may be asked what they did to make a difference in this world, and they can respond, I became a soldier.
Okay, New York Jets pick up tight end Jeremy Rocket. More offensive weapons. Two-time all Big Ten honorable mention. Okay. What I see is that he just got a nice big cornbread, target. Let's just hope he's one of those big I may not be super fast, I may not be super athletic, but I'm just reliable and a big ass target. Cold chicken wing. Minnesota takes a timeout, as they're now only up by 3 in their game against Memphis. Okay, so let's continue. Thank you guys for bearing with me. I didn't get a new beer. I'm sorry. I was not going to be able to finish this show without my third beer. Which that's actually pretty decent. That's 1 beer per hour. That's 1 beer per segment per hour. Now, that's not bad. I wish that was my pace when I'm out drinking at the bar on a football Sunday. Actually, no, I don't, because I'll be there for 8 hours sometimes. Actually, that's not bad. 8 beers in a day. So, the New York Jets actually made one more surprising move. Because the New York Jets had 2 early second-round picks. And this is when I was hoping they would pick up, they would start getting the other side that we was talking about, right? Maybe an edge rusher, defensive end, maybe another weapon, maybe another offensive weapon here, right? Especially since they did 1-1. So I was kind of hoping again he would do 1-1 again, because I really want that defensive side of the ball solidified, right? And as I'm getting ready to, because right around now, right, we're talking about we're in the 20s of the draft, right? Kyler Pickett just went at pick number 20. And right around now, I'm thinking to myself, okay, things are winding down. The Philly-Toronto game is just about over, right? I'm telling you, yesterday I was really thinking to myself, like, damn, I need a third television. Like, excuse me. Like, I had the draft on, and there were 2 basketball games. I was like, damn, I need a third television. But one of those games end up being done. I think it was the Toronto game end up being done. So I was able just to kind of like focus on Phil New Orleans, and also I wanted to play like Xbox and shit like that too, right? So I was like, damn, I really needed a third TV so that I could play Xbox and watch both of these. But then I was able just to kind of like focus on one for a little while. Or maybe I was only focused on 2. Oh, that's right. I was going back and forth, and then I was just able to focus on one for a little bit. And I'm telling myself, okay, maybe I can go ahead and switch off on the draft a little bit and just focus on these 2 basketball games that are going on, right? And start watching these, because these were some really good games coming down to the end. At least the Phoenix and New Orleans are still a close game. And as I'm getting ready to start, like I'm preparing myself, I'm setting myself up, like I'm doing all the little things. Like, you know, okay, I'm putting this here, I'm putting that there, right? I'm getting my weed tray, I'm getting stuff off the bed, whatever the fuck I'm doing, right? Anthony Edwards tonight, 23 points. Dylan Brooks, 20 points. Bain, 17 points. Jaden McDaniels for Minnesota, 21 points. Let's see how many points John Moran has. Because, you know, he only had 3 points coming into the half. Coming out of the half. Coming into the second half. Whatever. Coming into the second half. Coming out of the first half. However you want to put it. My stomach is bubbling still. I'm scared to eat these wings and beer. My stomach's been all kinds of upset. Oh, Patrick Beverly. Oh, this is it to Bain, who dishes it to Brooks. Or dishes it to Brooks, who dishes it to Bain. Offensive rebound by Minnesota. They take another, Memphis, they take another 3-pointer. And folks, this game is now tied with 6 minutes left to go in the 4th. Officially tied. And we see fans talking smack to each other in the first row. Folks, we're up to the 103rd pick of the NFL draft, so we have about 2 more picks left to go in this draft before it is done for the evening. And then they're going to pick up rounds 4, 5, and 6 tomorrow afternoon. Now, like I said, the New York Jets surprised me. And I'm thinking I'm just going to be watching the beginning of this draft, right? The second round. So I can figure out what the Jets are going to do early on. When the Jets, I hear, oh, the Jets make a trade. And they trade back into the first round. I'm like, what? the Jets trade up to the 26th pick. I'm like, okay. Automatically, my brain is racing. Who the fuck are they gonna get? And granted, like I said, I'm watching the basketball game, mostly watching the draft. I'm not fully paying attention to everybody that's off the draft, off the board, and I'm definitely not paying attention to who they were saying were the best talents still available on the board. Now, there's one thing I did realize I needed to do was I was watching the ESPN feed. I realized that next time, I think I'm going to be watching the NFL feed on one channel. I'm going to be watching the ESPN feed on another. And I'm going to listen to ESPN Radio. I really enjoy listening to ESPN Radio with Bart Scott and them. The only thing about ESPN Radio, they were ahead of every other feed. By a couple of picks. So that was the annoying part. So maybe, so who knows? Unless I'm just unless I just really want the anticipation of seeing it, maybe in the future I may listen to it on ESPN Radio, and then I get a double dose. Okay, I know who's coming. Maybe I know who you are. I don't know who you are, but now I get to at least see who you are, and I get to at least see your tape. But New York Jets come back into the first round, and with the 26th pick, they grab Jermaine Johnson II. Now, damn, I just closed this out. I really did. Hold on one second. Let's see how far back these are. Actually, you know what? Maybe I don't need to do that. Let's see if I can pull up the mock draft, right? Because actually I may have to do it the way I was going to do it. I may have to put myself through a little bit of turmoil of opening things I don't really want open just to be able to get to something that I do want open. But they pick up Jermaine Johnson II, and immediately I thought, holy shit, wait a minute. That can't be right when I saw his name pop up. Because Jermaine Johnson II, right, was somebody that I kept on seeing in mock drafts, right, going within, let's see here. I'm trying to pull up somebody's mock draft. Nope, that's not it. That he was supposed to be going within the top. He was a top 10 talent. That they didn't have.
So I think the point you're making is, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you have never held anybody against their will.
I don't need to. Why would I?
There we go. My bad. That's something else I was working on earlier. That's what happens. I tell you, I'm opening shit up that I had closed out already because I didn't need it. And I don't know any easier way to go through and open past closed tabs without just going and just keep hitting reopen close tab, reopen close tab, reopen close tab, until I get to this very one specific close tab that I need, which is like 10 closed tabs a while ago. Just let you guys know. Let's see if I'm finally where the fuck I want to be. Here we go. Okay. Finally got it. God, I can get rid of actually, I should even get rid of some of these other ones, but I'm gonna get rid of a lot of these other ones because I don't need all the extra baggage on my screen right now. Slowing me down. Alrighty. So let's see here. I'm looking at a couple of mock drafts, right? And let me start giving you an idea of where Jermaine Johnson was supposed to land. Here goes one individual's mock draft. They had Trayvon Walker going first, Aiden Hutchinson going second, Ike Ikenawu going third to the Houston Texans. They had the Jets picking Sauce Gardner. They had that right. They had the Giants picking Evan Neal. Let's see, Charles Cross in 6. Giants picking Garrett Wilson. That's the wide receiver that the Jets end up picking. All right. Jameson Williams going to the Atlanta Falcons, as Atlanta Falcons actually did pick up another top-notch receiver for their team. They had Thibodeau going to the Seahawks. Wait. Okay, so on this one, they don't have... Shit. Okay. This one is going to debunk what I just said about Jermaine Johnson. I didn't notice his name anywhere, and even in the first round. On this... Nope, Jermaine Johnson, 13th pick to the Houston Texans. Right? That was one mock draft. In another mock draft, right? Let's see, they have Trayvon Walker going first, Aiden Hutchinson second, Aiku third, Sauce Gardner to the Jets again, Charles Cross to the Giants, Evan Neal, Derek Singletary, Thibodeau at 8, Jermaine Johnson at number 9. See, I knew there was a lot of drafts where Jermaine Johnson was not even supposed to make it to the Jets at 10. So I just want to give you guys, like, this is me trying to give you guys an idea of the Jets moving into the 26th pick of the draft, right? Moving up, giving up one of their picks, and also swapping a couple others, right? Another one, and going up to get Jermaine Johnson, who in another mock draft, he's rated as 8th, going to the Atlanta Falcons. I've even seen him go, if I'm not mistaken, this may be the one right here, Davis 3.0's mock draft. Well, let's see, with Trayvon Walker, Aiden Hutchinson, Ike, Sauce Gardner, Charles Cross, Evan Neal, Kalen Thibodeau, Jermaine Johnson again at 8th. Okay. And then I'll make sure I take a look at these other two. These are all the mock drafts that are on NFL.com. Right? And the thing, basically what I'm trying to say is that the Jets got him at 26. Nobody saw him falling that low. As you can see, so far I've read off about maybe 5, 6 of these, and only once, and I think now it's about to happen twice, that he has fallen out of the top 10, and he still hasn't fallen out of the top 15. Twice now he's gone 13th to the Houston Texans, and this is going to be the very last one that I'm looking at, and I didn't even look at like Mache's and all the others. But here goes one right here where they have Jermaine Johnson going 3rd to the Houston Texans. So in two different scenarios, they have him going to the Houston Texans. Just one person has him going in 3rd, and most of the people, a couple of the people had him going at 13th. Most individuals did not have him getting past the 8th or 9th pick, which means that the New York Jets weren't going to have the opportunity to get him again at the 10th pick. Jermaine Johnson fell to the 26th pick. The New York Jets traded up, and with the 26th pick, they picked Jermaine Johnson. And what I end up hearing is that they basically, once they realized what the pattern was, they started calling everybody from 15 on down to see if they wanted to trade with them. And finally they landed on the 26th pick, and over 75 live channels for sports news, and okay, that's what it said. Haha. Hulu commercial. So, just based off of that alone, where you have somebody that, in most circles, doesn't even make it to make it past 15, or in some circles doesn't make it past 15. In most circles, doesn't make it past the top 10, and in some doesn't even get out the top 5. And it just picked him up as a top 23 talent, as a 26 talent in the league. Oh yes, the New York Jets so far, they've picked up the defensive end that had the quickest first step. They picked up somebody who they call the best pure athlete at wide receiver, and now Jermaine Johnson as an edge rusher. Right? Sorry, they picked up the best cornerback in the game. Then they picked up the best said to be athlete at wide receiver, and now they pick up somebody who could be one of the best edge rushers out there. The New York Giants got the guy with the quickest first step. That was Thibodeau. And they had a guy that they feel could go with like could have been either before Thibodeau or right after Thibodeau. Like they consider him that good. Like I said, right now I'm looking at him as the third pick in somebody's mock draft. Aiden Hutchinson going first, Trayvon Walker going second, and Jermaine Johnson going third, and then Garrett Wilson going fourth to the Jets. Ike Iguodala going fifth to the Giants. Kenny Pickett going sixth to the Panthers. Sauce Gardner going seventh to the Giants. Thibodeau going eighth to the Falcons. Like, that's how things were panning out. This game is going back and forth. This Minnesota and Memphis game. I just saw Memphis. Actually, no, not going back and forth. Actually, yeah. We saw Cal Anthony Towns try to hit a long three. We saw Bane take a wide open three as his man went flying by him. That put Memphis up 101-99, and they just came back down to hit another field goal. So current score is 103-99. Memphis is up, and they're trying to. I mean, you know what they're trying to do here. Memphis is trying to see if they can introduce Minnesota to the
You have failed this city
club. And look, as the NFL draft just finished, the third round just finished, on the NFL Network, we're about to get it replayed immediately right after. I may go to sleep with this on. I think I've done that in the past. I may go to sleep with this on so I can hear all the draft picks in my sleep. I'll have a couple of things that'll wake me up and get the blood flowing. As my blood started flowing, as Jaden McDaniels puts up his 24th point for Minnesota. He banged in a 3-point. This is now a 1-point game. 103-102. Memphis. With a minute 15 seconds left to go. That's 75 seconds left to go in the game. 3 seconds on the clock. John Moran is dribbling. Gets it out to Brooks, who shoots. 3-pointer. That's good. That wasn't Brooks. That wasn't Brooks at all. That was Jones. They have too many light skins on their team. Between Brooks, Baines, and Jones. If I'm not paying attention, I can get them confused very quickly. Alright, let's continue. I keep mentioning I had a shocking moment. And granted, that did shock the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie. That was very shocking to me as well. But I already had gotten my first shocking moment of the NFL draft by then. And that was when these trades started coming in. And the trade that shocked me, right, was when I heard that they traded, the Tennessee Titans traded A.J. Brown to the crap. To Arizona Cardinals. There we go. Wait. No. That's not who went to Arizona. Hold on. Oh, damn it. Okay, my bad. As A.J. Brown goes to the Eagles. Told there's a lot of Browning going up today. Right? But right after that, for their draft pick, they picked up, let's see here. Treylon Burks? Is that right? Tennessee traded Treylon Burks, they traded away A.J. Brown. Let's see if that's what panned out. Now, one, I was just shocked that they traded away A.J. Brown, right? That was probably the first shocker. But also what surprised me was that they traded A.J. Brown for somebody that was basically A.J. Brown. You see what I'm saying? Is that I understand that he's a younger version of the guy that you have now, and you don't want to pay the guy that you have now. Folks, 36 seconds left to go in the game. 108-104, Memphis. Anthony Edwards has the ball. He gets it out to Patrick Beverly, who catches it. He takes He gets it. He's on the wing. He gets it to try to make a 3-pointer. There's a step back. Kind of gets away from his man. His man closes. He does a step. He steps to the side. Wide open 3-pointer. Falls short. Patrick Beverly isn't a 3-point shooter like that. To be honest with you, he really isn't. Let's go find this Tennessee Titans pick. Right? Yeah, it was. Okay, so with the 18th pick, right? The Tennessee Titans picked Treylon Burke. But that's not before trading away A.J. Brown to Philly. Because that was supposed to be Philly's pick, and Philly sends it to Tennessee. And that's how they got Treylon Burke. Especially since Treylon Burke is another version of A.J. Brown. So this is one of those things that always baffles me, right? I understand like this guy's coming up for a contract soon. You probably don't want to pay him, but I'm pretty sure there's a way that you could franchise tag him this year, or you could find a way to get him paid this year, and then do whatever you need to do with him next year. Why not give yourself 2 A.J. Browns or give your quarterback 2 A.J. Browns for at least 1 year? Why not? Like, it's little shit like that always bugs me. It's little shit like that always baffles me and upsets me. Like, why you always say that? Oh, we didn't want 2 of the certain player, or we couldn't afford to. Find a way to get two of those players for 1 year. Quarterback Malik Willis, 88th overall pick to the Tennessee Titans, crying right now. I see him. Let's just do this recapping some of the draft picks from today. Top 3 in rushing yards as a quarterback, 87-88. Rushing touchdowns. Whoa, and 13 rushing touchdowns? Damn. Okay. Folks, this Memphis game is coming to the end. You see John Morant going to the line. He only has 13 points. So he only had 3 points coming to the half. He only has 10 right now. Put up 10 through the half. 5 for 8 from the free throw line. Current score 108-104. 20 seconds left. So that's probably the first thing that probably upset me, because, and like I said, it's always because I just never like how that looks. If you have the opportunity to put two versions of your star player on the field or on the court, why not do it? We've heard this too many times. Portland didn't want to have 2 Clyde Drexlers. Golden State even at one point in time they didn't want to have 2 Stephen Currys. What team was it? Phoenix didn't want to have 2 Devin Bookers. Like little weird shit like that, and it always comes up to bite them in the head. Like, why wouldn't you want 2 of me? You know what 2 of me can do for this team right now? You know what having another one of me would do for me? The kind of spacing and freedom I can get to roam. John Morant hits both of his free throw shots. This is now a 6-point game, 110-104, 20.7 seconds left to go in the game. Look like Minnesota may also join the You Have Failed This City Club. Folks, everybody taking care of their business in Game 6. We saw one sweep with Brooklyn and Boston. We saw a lot of gentleman sweeps, right? And then we got our Game 6s. Look like no games in the first round are gonna make it to 7 games. And I wonder if the Tennessee Titans are even gonna make it to the playoffs now, because A.J. Brown was really an intricate part of helping to solidify that offense. And I know that they say that we're getting a similar kind of player in A.J. Brown, body type, possibly catch radius, things like that. How they go out, how they high point the ball, or even attack the ball when trying to catch it. That while it's true that he may be another version of what you already have, what you can't also replace is the chemistry that you guys already have. Right? Because it's not like you're getting an A.J. Brown and you're putting him and you get a younger version of A.J. Brown. You put him on a team with all of A.J. Oh, I think I just missed a caller. And you're getting A.J. Brown with all of A.J. Brown's knowledge and all of A.J. Brown's chemistry with his current quarterback, and you're just turning back the clock and making him younger. You're not doing that. You say you're getting a younger version of him, which means now this guy has to learn to play. He has to learn the playbook. He has to gain chemistry with the quarterback. He has to learn how to be an NFL professional. He has to know what it feels like to be hit by a professional NFL player. Like he has to get past just the rookie wall. And yet, you tell yourself, I don't want to have A.J. Brown. I'd rather just get the younger version of him. It looks good on the books. It sounds good on paper. Like when you just tell it to your regular everyday fan, like, oh, we got the younger version of him. And they're like, oh yeah. But you forget what young really means. It means that you got the inexperienced version of A.J. Brown. You got the I don't know what the fuck I'm doing yet version of A.J. Brown. You got the I'm trying to get accustomed to the NFL version of A.J. Brown. And now you just gave that to Philly. And Philly, this draws questions for you too. Philly. Because now your quarterback gets put into that cycle now of like, you know what? We're getting you now weapons. We're getting you playmakers. We need to start seeing if you can start turning yourself and these playmakers and turn us into a winning franchise. And now you start being evaluated to see if you are that franchise quarterback. Jalen Hurts, you're happy that you got A.J. Brown, and you should be. I seen you with quoting or tweeting with the training day Denzel Washington meme. My nigga. I seen you. But now that also means that they're expecting you to start producing now. You can't have any more lulls. This is now you moving from, okay, we don't know what you are, kind of show me, to like, no, now you need to prove that you're worth the price of admission. But damn, Tennessee, like, I ain't gonna lie, if you had to get rid of anybody, Tennessee, if you had to do anything, I would have preferred that you got the wide receiver and traded away the quarterback and get yourself a rookie quarterback. Like, seriously. You have Ryan fucking Tannehill, for Christ's sakes. What the fuck do you think you're going to go with Ryan Tannehill? You understand? Tannehill sounds like something that chicks do when they're trying to say that they're tanning their cheeks naked. Yep, folks, this game is done. Anthony Edwards just takes his final shot. It comes off the rim, 114-106, folks. Memphis Grizzlies are advancing to the next round of the Western Conference playoffs. And they are excited, folks, and they should be. It's been a hard-fought game. This has been one of the good, exciting series of this player, especially for two young teams, or two teams that you actually see that's so young. This right here, this particular matchup, Anthony Edwards is distraught. This particular matchup right here between Memphis Grizzlies, between John Morant's Memphis Grizzlies and Anthony Edwards' Minnesota Timberwolves, I would not be surprised within the next 4 or 5 years if this is the two teams that we watch in the Western Conference Championship. That's how good they are. And that's how promising these two young talents are for the NBA. That these two teams and these two guys... Gritty time. Gritty for his daughter. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I would not be surprised if this is something that if these two teams that we watch in the Western Conference Championship. But I won't be surprised also if the Tennessee Titans take a massive slide. So now, when we're looking at schedules, right, and we're still reevaluating these teams after the draft, right, and we still looking at their wins, loss. You know when you play that game, win, loss, win, loss, win, win, loss, 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 win, loss, win. Right? When you're playing that game now, and you start going through that exercise, that changes now. And it has to change. You can't look at you can't look at them as a team that was winning 75% of their games with AJ Brown. No, they don't have AJ Brown. It doesn't matter how they verbalize it. You're not getting AJ Brown. You're getting somebody that you think can be a version of AJ Brown. So now all those wins that he was giving you, 75% of the times when he was in the game, you were winning games. That's taken off the. That's thrown out the window now. You go back to now losing 75% of the games without him, until the rookie wide receiver that you think that can be as productive as him proves to be as productive as him. Not just with his physical abilities, but with also his locker room abilities, and also his ability to truly affect wins and losses. He may be a stud and put up dumb numbers, crazy numbers, outstanding numbers. What if those numbers don't help you win? What if he's not enough of a factor to do enough to help you win? You just basically put you basically put the next few years of this franchise on your overutilized running back who is very slowly breaking down. You didn't find a way to help protect him or get him secondary help, and your quarterback that has been a notch below average since the day he was drafted. The one guy that helped balance that out, right, or unbalance that out, right, that helped tip the scales into your favor, you got rid of. And I'm loving what I'm seeing here right now, where John Moran is given a jersey to Anthony Edwards' dad, even though this is something that they agreed upon or whatever, and they was talking their shit. Stop it! Now you look like you twerking on your dad. We got about 10 minutes left into the podcast, folks. As this game just came to its end, and we're about to come to our end here pretty soon. That was the first Brown. That was truly the first shocker, right? That didn't involve my team. Like I said, the Jets moving up really shocked the shit out of me. But this was really the first move that I was like, what the fuck is going on? This is truly the first shocking move of the draft for me. And I don't think that this benefits Tennessee at all. But if you're Philly, you know what? This is the next step to trying to identify and to help move yourself up into what is a weak NFC. See, AFC is loaded. That's the reason why I said, like, yo, Tennessee, you may have just officially cost yourself a playoff berth. You know, we always say that there's about 6 teams from the playoffs that made it last year that's not going to make it this year. Tennessee Titans, I just put you in one of the teams that's not going to make it. Now you know you done fucked up, right? Now another team that had to pass some Brown, right? And that was the Baltimore Ravens. Again, another move where at least the franchise player on that team was like, what the fuck? We seen the Baltimore Ravens move on from Hollywood Brown. Sorry, we don't like to call him Hollywood Brown. Oh, let's make sure we let you know. He's not Hollywood. He's not Hollywood, California. He's not movie star Hollywood. He's Hollywood, Florida. He's like Bollywood, right? So Bollywood Brown, he gets traded from the Baltimore Ravens over to the Arizona Cardinals. And it's a trade that he asked for because he was unhappy with how he's been utilized. So this is either how that quarterback gets him the ball, or how they scheme to, how that offensive coordinator and that coach scheme to get him the ball. But whichever one it falls on, he's unhappy. And he asked to be moved to Arizona. And I like Arizona. And you have to understand what this adds to Arizona. I just don't know about AJ. I just don't know about Hollywood Brown and the kind of receiver that he is. Because even when he was being targeted, he was not one of the most reliable wide receivers out there. But now maybe when he goes to Arizona and he's surrounded with DeAndre Hopkins and AJ Green and Randall Moore and James Conner and Zach Ertz, maybe now, like I said, because he can't be targeted, he can't be doubled. It's basically going to be one-on-one coverage, and you know Kyler Murray is another version of is another version of what you just left in Lamar Jackson. Maybe a smaller version of what you just left in Lamar Jackson. Don't know if he's a more dynamic, a more dynamic passer of the ball than Lamar Jackson was. Maybe not so much more of a dynamic runner, and maybe a little bit even out. I may even give the edge to Lamar Jackson. So this may benefit AJ Brown. This may benefit Bollywood Brown. I don't know if this fully benefits the Arizona Cardinals, but it does leave them with at least a name of a weapon in a position where they needed a weapon at. That makes sense. And at least it makes it seem like it's a name that you may have to scheme for, at least a name that you have to respect in that position. But again, what are we gonna see from Arizona? We've seen Arizona be lights out. We've seen them start hot and we've seen them start slow and end hot. We've seen them start hot and end slow. We've seen them be hot the whole entire year and fizzle out in the playoffs when things get a little bit more cramped. We've seen every version. So what is gonna be the version of Arizona that we're gonna get? Is Arizona now to what we just saw last year, where they can now make the playoffs but fizzle out early? Or is this the Arizona team that's now consistently taking steps along the way to move forward? And every time that they fall short, they learn from it, they get better. They fall short again, they come back, they get better, they go a little bit further, they fall short again. Like, are they that team that every time that you knock them down, they're coming back a little bit stronger into a different Super Saiyan mode? We're gonna see that these are questions that are gonna be answered throughout the year. I don't have the answers for these yet. I just know what the moves are supposed to mean. And this is supposed to be covering up for Christian Kirk. This is supposed to be you getting somebody in there that helps with the dynamic of the team. This is somebody that you're thinking that you could put opposite side of DeAndre Hopkins, and he's able to be a more than serviceable number 2 or number 3. But if you're Baltimore, where the fuck does this leave you? Again, see, for you, Baltimore, Bollywood Brown wasn't reliable enough for you to miss. Even though he put up over 1,000 yards in your offense, he still dropped way too many passes that not just Baltimore Ravens fans were uncomfortable with. Just football voyeurs were uncomfortable with when watching Baltimore. Because you realize there were a lot more wins they could have gotten, and they could have had a lot more easier time if Bollywood Brown had more reliable hands. Except for Bollywood Brown sometimes is out there looking like a Orochimaru after the 3rd Hokage sealed his jutsu. That's a reference for your ass right there. What happened to my hands? So it was those 2 Brown trades that really caught my eye. Now, just to let you guys know, New York Giants also end up adding up wide receiver Wandale Robinson. I know the New York Jets in the 2nd round also added a tight end to their squad as well. So again, we're seeing these New York teams do the right thing. See Baltimore handle defense again as they get an edge rusher, David Ojabo, earlier today in the 2nd round with the 45th pick. So again, we're seeing New York do make the right moves. We just gotta hope that they can develop the talent enough, or to be able to be successful, or that talent is good enough to overcome those teams' generational curses. Now we're gonna leave the podcast with this little statement, and we'll probably end up picking this back up on Monday, live at 8:07 p.m. when we return that night. I think I may have a new job by then too, which is great too, because I need to find a way to bring in like another 40 grand in for the year. If not more than that. Actually, it's like another 140 grand. But we'll get there. Trevor Bauer, right? The Major League Baseball's Trevor Bauer, he has been suspended Okay, I don't have it written down anywhere here. So Trevor Bauer has officially been suspended. Starting today, for 2 years, he is banned from baseball due to his sexual allegations that has occurred 2 years ago. He already missed 1 full year of not playing while this went through, and now Major League Baseball has feel that they have enough evidence to go ahead and put down their ruling and judgment, and they have ruled that Trevor Bauer will not be a member of their league for at least the next 2 years. Trevor Bauer has already come out saying that he is going to appeal it because he does not believe that he has done anything wrong. We are not gonna sit here and talk about if we thought that he did anything wrong or right, at least not on today's podcast. We're not even gonna give you any additional thought on the matter. We're just here to let you know that he has officially been suspended. And since we're talking about suspension and fines, Jimmy Butler has been fined, I think it was $15,000 for his remarks, right, and gestures when the Atlanta Hawks were eliminated from the playoffs. And also the Miami Heat were also fined about $30,000. So I think Jimmy got $15,000 and the Miami Heat got $30,000 for making a meme out of Jimmy Butler's remark towards the Atlanta Hawks as they were eliminated from the NBA playoffs. Folks, that is my time. Thank you guys for listening. I am Untitled with the Mighty Sports Podcast. Hope you guys continue to catch a wave that never subside, or more importantly, trans yourself into the person that you would hire to work for you. We're out of here. Play my outro so I can stop rambling.
Sorry, B. I tried. Honest. All the bandwidth in the world couldn't keep me contained. No lag. No lag. Gonna share my talents with Podbean Live. Always knew I'd take the pod there. Just a lot later than a lot of listeners thought. Last of the real gabbers. Well, maybe not the last. Munchkin got good mic skills. New, improved MyT podcaster. Potted down now. Last call for drinks. Bars closing. Sun's out. Heard the casino got a buffet breakfast. Don't wanna go far. Wild night. Tired, B. Tired. My